live on Twitch and YouTube. Twitch always works fine. It's YouTube that's the issue. Welcome. Keep tapping the screen, share the live. We have a bunch. I kind of did a lot of talking / debating. I mean, I guess it was a debate on Monday for so long, so I didn't get to go through as many things as I wanted to. So hopefully we're going to be able to cover all of them. Actually, and I don't know what to say. It's not that I want to say nothing has happened since Monday. It's more like a continuation of the same shit. So it's kind of, it actually was a good day to debate. Give me 1 second to get us live on YouTube. Hey, Leah, and then we'll get this party started.
You know that paper is more sophisticated now than computers.
Oh my God, my brain. I just copied and pasted my super chat directive into the chat. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. Come on, YouTube. Okay. Oh, I thought YouTube shut down for a second. I was like, no. Okay, we are good. And I needed to say, I've been reminding myself over and over to not forget. I wanted to even say this on Matt's side, but I made myself no, I would not forget. On Monday, when the live was ending, Jess, you sent me $10 on Cash App and said, a treat on me. Hope you have a better day. I so appreciate that. And I always try to make sure I thank everyone who tips me or donates. And like that came in literally right when I ended the live. So Jess, thank you for the $10 on Cash App, because I've been trying to remember the last couple of days. Like, do not forget. Thank Jess. So thank you so much. And I'm sorry I didn't get to it on Monday right when I was ending the live. It was just a lot was going on and I didn't see it come into my notifications. Okay, I was talking so I just want to give an update, and I hate talking about these things, but I've been monitoring it and I want to. So there's been a pew-pewing, if you will, in Georgia. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm just going to pull up an article. There's not that much information on it. It's happened on a military base in Georgia. There's been, I think, 5 soldiers who've been pew-pewed and wounded, who've been taken to a hospital. Here, let me just I'll just show you guys this is just a Guardian article on it, because there's just not a lot of information, like on what's happening. I don't, when these things happened on military bases, I've noticed there's not always a lot of information. It seems like they kind of get, I guess, swept under the carpet a little. 5 soldiers were pew-pewed and wounded on Wednesday on the Fort Stewart military base in southeast Georgia. Before the pew-pewer was taken into custody, parts of the base had been locked down earlier on Wednesday after a shooter was reported on the sprawling army post. The base later issued an all clear, and the gates were reopened. 5 soldiers. This is a quote from the army base. 5 soldiers were pew-pewed today in an active shooter incident in the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team area. All soldiers were treated on site and then moved to Wynn Army Community Hospital for further treatment. There was no active threat to the surrounding community. Again, that was the first press release from the base. I think I saw someone in the chat say there's another press release going on. In my experience with this military base stuff, like I said, they just don't give out a ton of information. So I'm sure, well, let me rephrase. I think, like, if there's anything Trump can use to distract from the fact he's all up in the Epstein files and is a creepy liar who's ran our economy into the ground and driven us into stagflation, I think he will use it to his advantage. But, as we know, disproportionately in these situations, they are not to the conservatives' advantage to be reporting on them. So I was monitoring that, and I was trying to wait for the live press conference, but it was waiting and waiting, and I didn't want to. I think I have the couple clips that like Midas Touch was put. I mean, it's not much information, but I do like to make sure that we aren't pretending like things aren't happening. Wait, where are my army base posts? Oh, here we go. I do have them. Again, this just happened in Georgia on an army base.
Some very important news, and Dan, we've just gotten some very important news in from our John Miller, our chief law enforcement and intelligence analyst. A law enforcement official says the shooter is indeed active duty military. And Dan, we've just gotten some very.
And then here's the second.
Reporting coming from my colleague John Miller, from a law enforcement official. We knew that the shooter is a soldier, but here's a new information. The shooter is an Army sergeant. He is a male. He is alive, and he is in custody. But it's important to note here that it is unclear whether this soldier is a soldier at Fort Stewart. But again, the shooter is an Army sergeant. He is a male. He is alive, and he is in custody. That is according to a law enforcement official. Hopefully, we'll get more information on that at this 3:30 update that we're anticipating here from officials. Guys, reporting.
That's the press conference that's going on right now. Like I said, especially when these things happen on military bases, they just shut it, because it's very easy for them to control the flow of information on military bases. So, yeah, I have Google alerts set for this. So if anything big comes out that we don't know, I'll let you guys know. But in my experience with this stuff happening on military bases, like, they'll tell us as little as possible, unless it's politically advantageous to Donald Trump at any point, at which point then we'll hear a bunch of BS, right? But I mean, unless we're gonna sorry. I feel like I was gonna play something and now I'm forgetting. Sorry, I had a whole plan in my mind and I got a little off track. I want to make sure it's not going to get too much. Okay, I remember. I want to play one clip before I get into some reading. Keep tapping the screen. Sorry I'm late. I just have had a lot going on this summer. I've got a lot of things I just found out today. My anti-vaxxing, Jesus-loving sister I love my nieces and nephews. I should say they're the highlight of my life, but they'll be here in less than 48 hours and are coming from Texas. I always do love these surprises. So I've been trying to clean and get ready for that. Okay, so I just want to play a quick clip and then I'm going to get into do a couple just reading things that I couldn't find any clips about that I think are important to note about what's going on as far as, Trump is just like, hey, Glenn, I'll give you anything. Hey, child trafficker, what do you want so that you don't drag me into this? Like, if I would ever thought I'd seen the day where we're just giving child traffickers anything they want so they don't implicate the president who's been found liable of SA already by a jury of his peers, has been credibly accused by dozens and dozens of people of SA. Now we know from the attorney general that he lied over and over to our faces about being in the Epstein files for months and months and months, when he was specifically told by his own attorney general / general of the expansion of the swamp, lawyer to lobbyists and Middle Eastern countries, Pam Bondi, told him in no uncertain terms that he was all in the Epstein files. He lied and lied and lied, and now we are watching him pardon a bunch of traffickers who he is afraid may turn on him. Which, when you say a bunch of traffickers, who am I talking about? I have a couple of these clips, but I want to just show to you before I read some things, because I just want to say, all the MAGA people who I was about to say I have debated. You guys don't know what debate is. You guys are incapable of debate. You just yell your feelings and fantasies at people online and think you're doing something because you're a middle-aged white male. Um, and I remember when the whole Diddy indictment came out. Remember, I have the whole Diddy indictment printed out. I read it word for word because I was so disgusted by it. On this live in October, I read the entire Diddy indictment out loud. And what I noticed was MAGA kept requesting, I let some people up, and they were like, yeah, remember Rock the Vote? That was Diddy. All Democrats are three PDOs. You guys are all creeps. And then I lovingly tried and very slowly, because their brains don't work, explain to them that, hey, there's people, it doesn't matter how you identify politically. There's people all across the political spectrum that are capable of harming women and children. And we need to be mindful of that and do something about it. And they're like, have you seen the pictures of Diddy with Bill Clinton? And so then I showed them like the hundreds of pictures of P. Diddy and Trump together, even though just to make a point. Like, I don't think I fully grasped how much Diddy must know about Trump or how worried Trump would be about whatever Diddy possibly knows about him until I've now seen that it's very possible Diddy, a literal abuser / S trafficker, is going to be pardoned while we all watch. And MAGA, you're the ones that said Diddy needed to be punished and was gross. So can somebody please explain to me why we're going to pardon? We're just now any three PDOs and S traffickers and abusers of women, we're now just like line up for your pardon?
One of Sean Diddy Combs' attorneys gives her first interview since his conviction last month, and she's giving an answer to what's been largely speculated about. Will Diddy get a pardon? Watch.
Have people in Sean Combs' orbit, have they had conversations with the Trump administration?
Yes. My understanding is that we have reached out.
Reached out is one thing. Having a conversation is another. Do you know if there have been active conversations about a pardon?
Yes, it's my understanding that we've reached out and had conversations in reference to a pardon.
President Trump, when he was asked about this pardon, he said, quote, "I was very friendly with him. I got along with him great, and he seemed like a nice guy. I didn't know him well, but when I ran for office, he was very hostile." And the president indicated that a pardon is likely not on the table because of that break in his relationship with Mr. Combs years ago.
To be clear about that, what he was saying, and this was on Monday, and I have the clip somewhere. I'm not going to go find it now, but it's in my Monday outline, is what Trump was saying was, oh, like P. Diddy and I used to hang out. We're really good friends. And then like when I became political, I didn't like how our views differed, basically. Like he basically was like, oh yeah, we were hanging out in New York and we were creepy friends until he opposed me publicly, politically, and I didn't like that. So that's what Trump was saying. Maybe he won't get his pardon because he didn't have my back publicly when I ran for president. Not because he's an abuser of women, a rapist, a trafficker, not because of any of those things. So MAGA, here's your chance. Do you care or not that Trump is pardoning or considering pardoning people and is saying publicly in the White House, oh, I have no problem pardoning this guy. I don't care if he, it's not that he's an S trafficker, a rapist, an abuser, has treated women and children horrifically. It's not about that. It's just about when I ran for president, he didn't support me publicly.
So, how is he feeling now about the chances of a pardon given the president's commentary?
I think that Mr. Combs is a very hopeful person, and I believe that he remains hopeful.
A very hopeful person, a very sick, abusive individual. And now this is what we're seeing, though, right? Anybody remember? And this is the hilariousness of MAGA, right? You kept saying you were on to something. There's a conspiracy. Well, here it is. Here's a bunch of rich people who have something on your orange savior, Donald Trump, who says men shouldn't wear makeup, but has a full face of makeup on every day, pathologically lies. I mean, hundreds of times a day, stares at you guys and lies to you. And either you're too dumb or too lazy to hold him accountable. And now we are literally watching other S traffickers be like, hey, like, I'm going to need a pardon from you. Now, why would that be? If Trump was your innocent Lord and Savior, why would all of these people be able to leverage him for pardons, to hang out in minimum security, club-fed prisons with no walls, with Real Housewives of Salt Lake City? Why would anyone be able to leverage Trump unless he was a creep, which we already know he is? We know he's lied to us. We know all of it. And I just want to show, if you're a person who's like, I don't know, kind of on the fence and like, I don't know, like what I believe or what type of stuff I'm interested in seeing. If you know Jessica Tarlov, she's on The Five on Fox News. She's kind of the leftist voice on there. She has a really good podcast. It's called oh my God, now I'm going to forget. I think it's called Raging Moderates. I'm pretty sure. Like, but you know, she's very logical with the way she presents data. I'm not saying I suggest everyone hang out in the middle, but if you're kind of just looking for someone who's like presenting data in a really interesting way, she had James Carville on. Why, Marty, are you asking why is Trump getting involved in Diddy being pardoned? Yeah, a great question. Great question. That's yes, I think we should all be curious as to why the president of the United States is suddenly pardoning every or considering pardoning every trafficker in the country. Yeah, I think that's a very strange thing. I think we should all be thinking, why is he getting involved in this? I think that's a great question. I think his pay for pardon scheme has gone on a long time, and I think we should have probably thought about this sooner. But when it comes to, I think, people like P. Diddy, there's no payment that could be worth it. There's only, you know, in my view, to pardon an abuser of women, a rapist. I mean, on this scale, I think the only logical answer, which that counts MAGA out, so just leave the live because you won't be able to follow this, is the money's not worth it. Think how much money Trump is grifting and stealing already, like just through his crypto schemes and from bribes and other countries. There's no amount of money P. Diddy could give him to make it worth the optics of pardoning him, which only leaves another option, right? He knows something. And Trump has to get him to shut up. The same reason Ghislaine Maxwell's in a damn minimum security prison with mahjong, tennis courts and TVs and mahjong. Because they know something. Like MAGA could not find their way out of paper bags to save their life, but it's very obvious what is going on. Are you going to hold... and I'm saying this very clearly. Just moving Ghislaine Maxwell to that minimum security prison, Trump lies and says, oh, it's common. It's not common to move an a child S trafficker, to a minimum security club-fed prison. That is the least common thing. I actually looked for precedent on it. It is not common. It is not common. That one act alone is unforgivable. I mean, I could go into the millions of lies he told about it, lying about being in the Epstein files. Every single thing he has said to MAGA's face has been a lie, and they're either too dumb or too impotent to hold him accountable. And I do think it's a combination of both. They are dumb and impotent, you know, different levels, each one of them, but it is usually a combination of both. Again, oh, sorry, I forgot. You guys can't see what I'm looking at. Okay. This is, again, Jessica Tarlov, who's our leftist angel who worked, God, I don't know if she survives on The Five at Fox News, but she has a podcast called Raging Moderates. So just plugging her podcast because it's good. And then also she had James Carville on, and I just thought I would play this clip.
It doesn't take a lot to keep it going. There's questions everywhere. Can't we finally get some answers? All we get is stonewalling and prison transfers, in the House going out of session so they couldn't subpoena the records. There's so much we don't know. Why don't we get some answers out of here? Let's ask them. And then, this is a giant distraction, and go back to your message. But it's kind of hard to tell people don't talk about a guy who either hung himself or was hung in a jail cell, and you had underage women all over the place, and you had a British socialite in the middle of it, and God knows everything. I mean, how do you not talk about that?
It's definitely made for TV kind of stuff.
It also comports in the reason, and it fits on what a lot of people on the right say. There's this giant cabal of coastal elites that are harvesting these young females. You got to give them credit. They were 2/3 right. There was a bunch of coastal elites, international coastal elites, who were grooming and harvesting young women. That's true. It wasn't being done in Comet Pizza.
With Hillary standing at the front of the store.
You got the wrong guy. Stuff, it does.
Wasn't being done at a pizza place in DC in a basement, but yeah, it's like, but here's the problem, like, with the impotence of MAGA, and I'm saying it, MAGA, you guys are impotent. You've always been impotent. You guys are, I guess the nice way to say it would be like dreamers. You have these fantastical ideas of conspiracies and cabals and the deep state, but when it comes time to do actual research, follow actual lines of logic, gather the actual evidence, and hold the actual criminals accountable, you're impotent and weak. Because it's never who you think it is, right? Like, which just says a lot about you. I mean, prior to you even feeling there was a deep state, Biden had been investigated for almost 10 years. And you guys were convinced he was on Epstein's plane. We already knew he wasn't. But that's my point. It's like you have these fantastical ideas, and in your head, it just simply is Democrats who are harming children, which is not how it works and makes no logical sense. But now that we've gathered actual facts, we know Trump is all up in the Epstein files. Not just that, because what Trump is always guilty of is the cover-up, right? It's the obstruction of the investigation. It's the lies after the fact, right? This is what he is now doing again, what we watched him do in every single case he's ever been in trouble for. Like, I read every court document in the Stormy Daniels case. I mean, that's a lot of what Trump was up to, was going back and trying to cover up things he had done wrong rather than just being honest about it. And that's what I've noticed about MAGA. It's like you like to dream up all these conspiracies and things, but when it gets time and to look at the facts and say, hey, here's what you were right about. It's Trump. Trump was all up in the Epstein files. We now know all of these women reported him and Epstein to the FBI. They've passed lie detectors. They have corroborating witnesses. We know that Ghislaine Maxwell was all up in this with them. We know at every turn Trump lied. But where are you now, MAGA? Hiding inside your paper bag you now conveniently can't find your way out of? Don't worry, we'll clean up your mess like always. You guys are idiots and incapable of holding anyone accountable for anything. But let's just be super clear. Never tell anybody that you care about women or children. You do not care about women or children. It's a joke. I just want to read a couple of things. I could not find the clips. I was looking and I could not find the clips for, so I just wanted to just read a couple notes really quick. Oh, by the way, if anyone happened to catch my live with Matt yesterday with USMC Angry Veteran, Matt's only banned 3 days. That's what happens, I think, when you have a lot of followers and are in good standing with TikTok. Mac's the only person I know that gets banned 3 days instead of 7. Yeah, he's only banned until Friday, so we'll be able to do our live next week, and Matt is fine from the banning, the Ken rave. And I get it. Listen, it makes me upset. Like, I hate how much empathy I have, but just know that Ken Ray has bullied me for 2 years. So don't feel too bad for Ken Ray. I saw people in the comments being like, that's mean, Matt's being mean to Ken Ray. I'm like, he's been mean to me for years. That's the point, is these people have harassed me, said I'm dumb, said I'm ugly, said I'm disgusting, said I'm a man, said nobody would ever want to. I can't, like, I'm trying to think of all the D threats, like the grape threats. I mean, I'm not specifically talking about Ken Ray with those last two, but I'm just saying, like, it's kind of what, like, we have a lot of people who can dish it and not take it. Like my messages on Discord, I've got people guessing my email to tell me how much they hate me. Don't feel sorry for MAGA men. Like, does anyone remember when, if no one knows what I'm talking about, yesterday during Matt and my live, Ken Ray came up at the end and, was whatever he was doing, insulting us, and then I was like, turn on your camera. You've bullied me for years. Just stop talking about how we look unless you turn on your camera. And then he turned on his camera. And it's Matt. Matt's from the military. Once Matt starts going after someone, you can't stop him. But it is ironic though. Like so we did see Ken Ryan's face. And all I'm saying is, I'm starting a new campaign. # MAGA turn on your camera. Every single man that's bullied me for the way I look on the internet, it always turns out they look like a garbage dumpster on fire. It's the strangest thing. Like, I'm now going to try to match people in messages that keep saying I'm ugly and disgusting to their actual pictures. Because it's what I do. # MAGA turn on your camera or don't comment on anyone's looks anymore. Like, it's absolutely absurd. He gave us like a Cribs house tour and almost died during it. I was like, Matt, you almost killed a man during our live because you tried to make him walk around his house and he almost had an asthma attack. Like, it was insane. And I'm like, you have been mocking me for years about everything about my physical appearance, and this is it? This is what we're looking at? Like, I can't. I just know that if a MAGA man tells you you're ugly, however ugly they're saying you are is directly proportional to what they actually look like and how insecure they are about it. That's my new theory, because even I was not prepared for that level of what the... I don't think people yelling other people are ugly have to be like is super attractive, but like, I mean, I guess you're speaking from the knowledge of what ugly is, not... None of it makes... Anyways, the live was reposted on YouTube. Like, I didn't monetize it. I'm not going to clip it because, like, it's not nice. Like, but also, I need to be less nice. Like, that's kind of how I want to tie this up in a bow is... I've been thinking about this because it's just, the whole Michelle Obama, they go low, we go high. In the context of where we're at in America, we have to go to the depths of hell. How far will you go to save democracy? Do you know what I mean? Like, and I mean that. Like, we always used to be like, well, they're cheating, but we're not going to cheat. They're doing, exactly. Like, I've thought a lot about this the last month, and it is just, and I played clips on, was it Monday? I think it was Monday, of Gavin Newsom. No, last Monday, a week ago from this Monday, I was playing clips of Gavin Newsom, like, firing up saying, hey, if we're sitting here thinking, oh, hey, we'll just do the right thing and they'll stop doing the wrong thing, we're fucking wrong. And that's why I'm bringing this up. Like, it's no longer, hey, we're doing the right thing, they're cheating, and karma's gonna even this all out for us. We're gonna lose our country because we're all too nice. Like, that's what I keep telling myself. Oh yeah. Well, who said that? Eon3791 said we want dark fleece. The reason I've been fighting that off is because I had to go to therapy for 8 years. I was raised by monsters. I became a monster to survive that. And then I went to therapy for 6 years straight to move away from that. But yeah, like, I don't want to go back to being the person I used to be, but Like, don't worry, she's still in there. Like, I used to be a monster, and if we're not, like, I'm just starting to see, like, and I'm finally hearing people say this, doing the right thing is not going to get us anywhere. Doing the right thing and hoping Republicans will change has got us to where we are now. Has got us to huge transfers of wealth to the top of the trickle up economics, consolidating power and empowering monopolies and billionaires and corporations to influence politics, to take over. Nothing good has ever come of any of us being good people. You know what I'm saying, like within reason. But we really all need to wrestle with that, because when I think about where the high road has gotten us, look around. We're not going to win this way. And I always talk about it. It don't even dribble down. No, there's no trickle, there's no dribble, there's no dropping on down. They're going to rob us and starve us and deny us health insurance until we're all dead. Like unless we get into the trenches and get our hands dirty, that's the future. And I think we all need to start really thinking about that. And I think that's one of the themes of today's show, because I'm finally hearing Democrats be like, hey, like, we can be nice until they kill us all off. Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to fight, or do you want to be nice? Like, we need to get dirtier than they are. And I think just channel all of that anger at your narcissist mother or father who terrorized you as a child. Just like, that's what I've been saying. I'm built for this. Like, I have so much anger at things that happened to me I couldn't control. So I think we all have it somewhere deep down in us, and we need to start recognizing they do not stop unless you make them stop. If we are counting on these people to suddenly wake up and do the right thing, that day is not coming. These people are devoid of ethics and morals. Okay. Anyways, I wanted to just read a couple things about what's going on with Ghislaine Maxwell that I couldn't find in clips. Trump said before Todd Blanche, remember, again, this is the second in charge of the Department of Justice, but this was Trump's lawyer in the Stormy Daniels trial, second chair in the Stormy Daniels trial, and he lost. Or was he first? He might have been first chair. He did less of the talking. Ghislaine Maxwell, quote, he wants to make sure that people who should not be involved, or who aren't involved, or who aren't hurt by something that would be very, very unfortunate and very unfair to a lot of people. This is, again, Trump said before the department or the Attorney General, Todd Blanche, releases the transcript of his interview with Ghislaine Maxwell. So they're editing it. I just want to be clear. What Trump has been saying yesterday in a lot of roundabout, iffy ways is they're going to redact and edit what Todd Blanche said to Ghislaine Maxwell that got, over those 2 days, that got her limited immunity and moved to a club-fed prison with no walls. Basically, Trump saying, we don't want anyone to be hurt by this. Him. I have this clip, so I don't need it. But Maxwell's interview with Blanche in prison was recorded, and the Trump administration is deciding whether to release a transcript of it to the public. CNN broke the story. The existence of the recording, which of course it's recorded. Everything in prison is recorded. I'd be scared if it wasn't recorded. The existence of the recording has not been previously reported and comes at a time when the Trump administration is facing pressure to be more transparent with the information it has related to Epstein. It has related to Epstein. Sorry, I said that wrong. The administration had been transcribing and digitizing the recording. Discussions over potential publication of the transcript and audio are ongoing. But I just want to remind you that Trump is saying in interviews, we don't want to release the whole transcript. We're going to have to edit it because we don't want an innocent person, like him. We're talking about Donald Trump to be implicated or involved in it. He's openly admitting he's going to edit it. Trump said, I read that part. I just want to did you approve the transfer of Ghislaine Maxwell? Again, to the minimum security prison. I did not know about it. You didn't. So again, this is Trump telling his 8,000th lie of the week. It's not an uncommon thing. I just want to be clear. I did a lot of research. It's a very uncommon thing to move someone who's been convicted of what Ghislaine Maxwell has been convicted of to that type of prison. It is unbelievably uncommon. It's absolutely, oh, sorry. I didn't even, here, let me show this part. It's absolutely unprecedented for a convicted S offender to be transferred to a minimum security club fed. Never happens, and there's no way Blanche didn't get Trump's approval on it. Absolutely not. And remember, prior to Trump's presidency, one of Trump's bragging points was, I own the DOJ now, right? In a real democracy, there's separation between the Department of Justice and the president. The attorney general is not part of Trump's cabinet because that is corruption. By definition, the president of the United States directing the Department of Justice and their investigations and indictments of people is corrupt, right? Because you could use it against your political enemies, whatever. Joe Biden had separation between the DOJ and his cabinet. Trump has bragged openly over and over that separation is gone, and that's the way he wants it. So this is just another layer of Trump lying to us all. Well, MAGA, I know you can figure it out. It's not that hard. Oh, and here, okay, this is the part. I was like, I know there's some part I could not find that I have to read. This is it. So here's the biggest part. Understand, and this is because any information that's out there on Todd Blanche's meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell, I read. Okay, and I think this paragraph from Ron Filipkowski really sums up like what the grift is that's going on. Todd Blanche went to Ghislaine Maxwell and is basically like, what do you need to up kind of thing, and she's like, nicer prison, blah, blah, blah. But really what's happening now is Ghislaine Maxwell, right? Because we know Trump's like, oh, we're going to go to court and release the grand jury testimony. But in reality, read every single page of those court documents. What it was the Trump administration arguing against the grand jury testimony being released, saying, you can't release this and this is wrong. And now they got Ghislaine Maxwell on the same train. Allegedly, we were putting her in a nicer prison or something, even though we can compel her to testify anyways. And, but allegedly this was so she was going to show up and testify. Now her lawyers are doing exactly what Trump has lied to MAGA and done anyways, which is telling federal judges, oh, you can't release that grand jury testimony. Quote, Maxwell's team has just told the Southern District of New York, which is like, the hallowed halls of the Southern District of New York, the most famous court in the land. It is opposed to the government's motion to unseal the grand jury transcripts. Now, just be clear, the government never tried to unseal the grand jury transcripts. Trump just said that to the public. If you read the actual motion by Trump's government, it says the opposite. It says, you can't release this. It's just people who are idiots and can't read that support Donald Trump believe that because he keeps lying about it. So, to the government's motion to unseal the grand jury transcripts, arguing that because she hasn't seen them and is actively litigating her case, right? So this is another way Trump's going to get around releasing anything. I remember when this happened in other Trump files, right? Like in the Georgia RICO case, they were not releasing more information and saying, well, all these different defendants are being tried actively, and if we release any more things, it might affect their case. So Trump is now using Ghislaine Maxwell to actively run cover to say, oh, well, she's looking for an appeal. She's looking to relitigate her case. So we can't talk about any of this. Very convenient for creepy Trump. From her filing, this is a quote from Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyer's filing opposing the grand jury testimony being released. Jeffrey Epstein is dead. Ghislaine Maxwell is not. Whatever interest the public may have in Epstein, that interest cannot justify a broad intrusion into grand jury secrecy in a case where the defendant is alive, her legal options are viable, and her due process rights remain. So understand, Trump is now First lie was that he was ever trying to get the grand jury testimony released. There are paragraphs just informing the federal judiciary they can't release the grand jury testimony. Then, now he's using Ghislaine Maxwell as a real long-term solution to hiding that grand jury testimony. Saying, oh, well, she's trying to get an appeal. This is being relitigated, so it all needs to be kept sealed. So she is supposed to be, which I like this summary because this is the irony. She is supposed to be cooperating with the government. That's why she went to Club Fed, which is why they moved to her to a minimum security Club Fed. But she is objecting to their motion to release the transcripts. Are you getting it now? Are you getting that Trump is a creep covering up his own crimes? There's no way she would oppose this motion if the government really wanted the grand jury transcript released, which should tell everyone they don't really want it out. It is much better for them to politically to have a judge deny their motion because Maxwell and victims objected, then claim that they tried. That is exactly what is happening. If you can read, which MAGA, all of you are out because none of you can, but I can. Trump never tried to have the grand jury testimony released. As a matter of fact, the government's legal argument was the opposite. Then he's like, oh, don't worry. Ghislaine's going to cooperate. And that's why we're moving into minimum security prison. And now she's arguing the opposite alongside. No, you can't release the testimony. This is just another moment where we realize how dumb MAGA truly is. How dumb or how complicit, right? Like, how far will your cognitive dissonance take you? Or, let me put it another way, how little they care about women and children being trafficked, raped, essayed, whatever. I mean, come on, this is ridiculous. Jim McGovern posted a clip of Pam Bondi last year where she said that in criminal cases, there is no legal basis for people's names to be redacted from reports unless they are blank, unless they're a child, a victim, or a cooperating defendant. McGovern put the clip with a story that said Bondi redacted Trump's name from the Epstein files and tagged her with the comment, "Care to explain this, Pam Bondi?" So again, Trump, we know for a fact Pam Bondi redacted Trump's name from the Epstein files, and there are clips of her saying the exact opposite. George Conway responded to McGovern's piece and said, but he is a child. Well, I mean, I don't even think it's cute. But, and I'll just say this about these subpoenas and then we'll get into clips. But, so now James Comer has subpoenaed Hillary Clinton for depositions on Epstein, mind you. Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Merrick Garland, James Comey, Bill Barr, Alberto Gonzalez, Jeff Sessions, Robert Mueller, Loretta Lynch. And you can screenshot this because it has the dates for the subpoenas. Eric Holder. So just understand, all of these are in September. And the James Comer's only job is to distract from the truth, to run cover for Trump. I've watched this happen in the 118th Congress. That's all James Comer did, was just obfuscate, spend millions of dollars of our taxpayer money subpoenaing people and holding sham congressional hearings where we learned nothing new. They just lied blatantly. Truly. And that's what this is, because what is September? Winter is coming, right? Like oh my God, why can I not remember? Discharge petition, right? We have the 218 signatures to release the Epstein files. So this is like a schedule from August, September to October of distractions, basically. Distractions from the truth. Are we ever going to find out the truth, or we're just going to subpoena random people and ask them dumb questions? Hi, Wes. Hey, I'm going to update my Gulf goal. Sorry, I just had to do so much reading. Thank you for reminding me. I just wanted to make sure, because they were just, normally I look for all this in clips, but a lot of this, Fox is not covering these things. This is another thing. Trump and Rupert Murdoch So remember how Trump's like, Rupert Murdoch's making up lies about me, so I'm suing him. They cut a deal so that they can postpone each other's deposition. The reason that Trump doesn't want to be deposed, is because all the truth will come out once he's under oath. This is why Midas Touch keeps daring Trump to sue them, why they want to be sued. If you don't know, the majority of the people who work at Midas, a lot of them are lawyers. A lot of them want Trump to sue them because they're like, cannot wait to depose Trump. Like, we will not back down. Rupert Murdoch has a lot to hide. Remember, the reason oh my God, I almost said smart, the Dominion voting machine lawsuit was settled was because it was time for discovery to come out. And Rupert Murdoch's like, yeah, we can't do that. We can't have Tucker Carlson deposed under oath. We can't have Laura Ingraham deposed. We can't have all of our company's emails coming out. So he paid almost $1 billion to Dominion to shut it down. So they've basically agreed to postpone deposing each other under oath. Trump and Rupert Murdoch cut a deal postponing Murdoch's deposition in Trump's $20 billion libel case regarding publication of Epstein's birthday card letter until after the Wall Street Journal's forthcoming motion to dismiss. Barring health issues, neither Murdoch nor Trump will be deposed for months. Convenient. Rich people protecting rich people at every turn. Creeps protecting creeps. So just understand, this is not a right versus left issue. I mean, my issue with MAGA is they can't read nor think nor find their way out of a paper bag. But outside of that, like, as long as we're like, oh, who's in what bathroom? Who's having sex with who? Like, let's force religion on people. We're being robbed. That's the reality. This isn't a right versus left issue. We are all poor, being robbed by rich people who are actively covering for each other. That is the reality. The two-tier justice system is, if you have money, you're never going to be a criminal. If not, we'll just railroad you and put you away for nothing, for chewing gum and walking. That's the reality. This is an up-down issue, not right versus left. And as long as MAGA, you're too dumb and continue believing, not understanding math and the transfer of wealth that continues to go to the top of the economy and believing, oh yeah, I'm going to win the lottery. I'm going to be a millionaire. So I'll just think of myself as a millionaire. I mean, it's truly idiotic. And I would advise taking a statistics class. It might help you gain some perspective on your place in reality and in the global economy. And I think that would be helpful for you all. But we are not enemies. We're all being robbed by the same damn people. Okay, I think that's most of the things I was like, I cannot find any of this anywhere else. I mean, there's more things I could read, but I mean, I want to just take a little bit, do a little bit of motivation. Do you guys remember, I was about to say Brian Flood. That's a kid I went to high school with who, I won't tell that. I was about to tell a really gross story about him, but Mike Flood. Do you guys remember? It's take 3 of Mike Flood doing these town halls. He's a representative of Nebraska, and I have now showed the previous 2 town halls I showed clips of, and I was like, I don't know why he's doing this. It just keeps getting scarier. It's scarier. It's like all of his constituents show up and are just like, you're a fucking idiot. He did it again. Remember the last one I showed? I was like, God, and he already has the 3rd one scheduled. I don't know why he continues to do this to himself. Well, Mike Flood had his 3rd town hall, and God, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm wondering, I don't know what's going on. Is he okay? I hope he gets off on it. I hope he likes being berated and this is some sort of kink. Because I'm starting to wonder what's happening here. Like, why would you keep going? Even Rachel Maddow reported on this, and then I clipped some of the clips I could find.
Americans are badgering elected Republicans everywhere they're willing to show their faces, including tonight in Nebraska. Republican Congressman Mike Flood holding a town hall with his red state constituents. Watch.
Hi, I implore you to be quiet so that we can hear his responses. Remember, Mike's coming up for a re-election, and we'd really like to know what his responses are. I'm Rosina. I write you emails with concerns of your voting behavior regarding Trump and his actions. You support him, especially confirming the cabinet. Your responses are riddled with misinformation and lies. I fact check you, and then I send the responses back, and I get crickets. If I am fact checking them because they are wrong in your response, I send them back to you, and I get crickets. I get kind of bummed. And this is not about partisan. This is about issues, because we're about to lose our democracy.
My question is fiscal. With $450 million FEMA dollars being reallocated to open Alligator Alcatraz and $600 million taxpayer FEMA dollars being used to now open more concentration camps, and ICE burning through $8.4 million a day to illegally detain people, how much does it cost for fascism? How much do the taxpayers have to pay for a fascist country?
That was in Nebraska tonight at a town hall held by Republican Congressman Mike Flood, him hearing from his constituents tonight. We have total clarity now on what Trump's intentions are for the country. But I mean it when I say we. The country gets it and is more against it than they've ever been. And opposing this administration and what Trump is trying to do is turning out to be the story of the century. Americans are badgering elected Republicans every.
Well, do you guys remember him now that you see him, this guy? Because, again, I covered the first two town halls. I'm starting to think this is a kink. He must enjoy being publicly humiliated, and then is, giving himself, Andrew Jackson's in the back room. I don't know why else. What is the benefit of being publicly humiliated to the point you're in Nebraska and the national news media picks this up and publicly laughs at you? Fox News played clips of it. It's why would you want to be humiliated on this level? And after the first two times, be that really hit right. Let's go for a third time of public humiliation. These people are are you stupid? I've never heard people talking to a person like this, and he's like, yeah.
Why did you cut SNAP and healthcare research?
We do not have unlimited money in the United States.
Why did you cut?
Can't express enough. We don't, Mike Idiot Flood. Oh, thank you for explaining that to me, because you're talking about our money. These people sent you to Congress to quote unquote appropriate, decide what to do with our tax dollars, and you have now ceded power to the executive branch and to fascism in doing that. You know what's really funny though? There's always money for Elon Musk's, $8 million a day in welfare, in government subsidies and contracts. There's always money for billionaires. There's always money for billionaires to not pay taxes. There's always money for corporations to not pay taxes or to lobby the government for deregulation. There's always money for wars. Trump ran MAGA. You can't be this dumb. You cannot be this dumb. I don't believe you're this dumb. I don't believe it. But I know you don't have a financial stake in this. I know you're being robbed. So the only thing I don't know what else to believe. If you're not this dumb, why would you let someone rob you over and over again? He ran on no new wars. We always have money. We've increased the size of the military budget twice. Oh God, is ICE spending $8 million a day? It's 8 point something million a day. I believe. ICE is now the largest government agency, second only to the Bureau of Prisons. Like, I know, MAGA, you can't read or do math, but all impact studies show long-term incarceration does not help society or recidivism rates. So we're paying for concentration camps for private prisons so corporations and billionaires can get rich. How are you benefiting from that? You're not. It doesn't lower recidivism, doesn't lower crime. We know that mathematically. So just food for thought that none of your brains work. And watching these random people in Nebraska just unload on Mike Flood is one of the most fascinating. This guy's just like, hey, just had a thought, which was brilliant. One second. Can we tap the screen? We should be at almost 200K. Sorry I was late today. Tap, tap, tap. Also share the live. I'm trying to get to 420 subscriptions. If you would like to subscribe or buy a monthly sub for someone else, it is the yellow star in the left-hand corner, the arrow in the bottom right corner. Use that to share the live so we can get some more people in here. Because, God, some of these comments we're about to listen to are so good. And just remember, I think the reason I like to play these moments is because it doesn't, wherever you are, in the Midwest, on the coast, wherever, there are people all over that think just like we do, right? I mean, truly. And we're going to get into the gerrymandering of Texas and the updates on all of that. And because of that, I'm very fascinated by voter suppression and the numbers around it and how Republicans win elections. Because as we know, I could make a mathematical argument for how Trump won his second presidency just on voter suppression, just on suppressing voter rolls in swing states in the South. I can mathematically show you how Kamala Harris could have won if Trump didn't have tons of psychos challenging the voter rolls and illegally removing people, right? Well, I shouldn't say illegal in some states where voter suppression is wrong, but not in the South. So there's a lot of reasons, but I just think none of us are alone, right? Doesn't matter how red of a state you think you're in. There are many people who feel just like you, and more importantly, moderates, right? Or I shouldn't say moderates. I don't like that word. Independents.
A lot's been talked about Medicaid, healthcare, etc. A lot of countries in the world, Europe, Canada, they have healthcare for the people there. Outside, just now you said, you don't want to see a lazy 28-year-old get healthcare, whatever. My point is, every working and retired American should be entitled to health care. Would you sign on or write up a bill for Medicare for all? We've got Medicare now. We can start rolling back the age 5, 10 years at a time. Would you support that?
We can't afford that.
Yes, you
We protected Medicaid as the safety net for those who cannot care for themselves, who are vulnerable, for those who are able-bodied and working. I will tell you this, and I cannot take any credit for it. President Trump is going to bring down prescription prices because the countries you mentioned have been paying way too little for way too long, and we've been subsidizing them. And if we as a country I want to pay the same price for the drugs that are in London as they are in Lincoln. And that has not happened for a long time. We've been subsidizing these foreign governments and their socialized health care. This will get solved by President Trump. It will mark the biggest change in healthcare spending in 50 years. And I'm confident that's where we're going.
So every word he said is a lie. I mean, or up for interpretation, right? Or he's an idiot. Again, I don't know how many of these people are as dumb as the people voting for them, or that is up to interpretation. But I just want to be clear, yeah, I do agree while we pay for Israel to defend themselves, that Israel has universal health care and has free university. Yeah, well, we pay for their stupid Golden Dome and their defense systems so they can slaughter everyone in neighboring countries and starve a bunch of people in an open air prison. Yeah, we do pay for all of that so that they can pay for free school and free university and free healthcare for everyone in Israel, which I think is ridiculous. But to say, like, I think he's talking about the European Union, that we're subsidizing their drug price. That's not true. In Israel's case, yeah, while we pay for their defense, they get to just run a socialist country, which I don't think socialist is a bad word because I understand it just means regulating capitalism and creating equity and equality. Like, so yeah, I mean, Israel does, but in the case of Europe, what they do is what we should be doing, right? There's 300 something, how many people are in this country? 350 million. Well, then we become a collective bargaining unit. That's how you get drug prices lower. You drive them down by bargaining as a whole, not bargaining as individual insurance groups. Period. That's how drug prices are lower at other places. It's very simple. It's called collective bargaining. No one knows what Mike Flood is talking about, but none of that is true.
It talks about two big changes to the Medicaid program. One of those changes is that if you are able to work and you are able-bodied, you have to work. If you choose not to work, you do not get free health care. You do not get free health care. Okay. So here's a question. Do you think that people who are 28 years old that can work and refuse to work should get free health care? I don't think that a majority of Nebraskans agree with you. It talks about two big...
Again, and I could go into long mathematical arguments of why he has no idea what he's talking about. And I can't, it just speaks to how dumb MAGA is. Every time I meet the Republicans you elect, that's when it really sinks in how dumb MAGA is. I'm like, holy shit, you guys are dumb. If this guy is making sense to you, if you're like, yeah, firing on all cylinders, God, you all are dumb as fuck. I don't know how, there's no other option at this point to really speak to that. But truly, what do you mean 28-year-olds shouldn't have health care? Yeah, in every developed country in the world, you should not have to sell yourself to a corporation for the right to go to the doctor, for the right for your children to go to the doctor. That's slavery. That's kind of crazy. I mean, I'm in every other developed free country in the world, that's how it works, except for ours, right? Where we sell our life force back to corporations for the right to have medication when we have an infection. But again, Trump ran on no new wars. We've started war after war. He celebrated starting a war with Iran. We had, how many was it? $50 million planes just fall off into the ocean, into the Mediterranean, just fall off the side of an aircraft carrier. We can afford all of that. We can afford Trump causing wars, starting wars, lying. We can afford anything, but we can't afford for people to go to the doctor. Come on. I know you can figure this out, MAGA. You can't be this dumb. Who bought all these subscriptions? U4 RIA 12. No, wait. Hold on. Sorry. I'm trying to figure out where. Joby, hi. Thank you for. We made it to 420. Thank you for the 20 giveaway subs, Joby. You're amazing. Love you so much. Yeehaw. And thank you for the hat. Joby, you are so amazing. Thank you. I appreciate it so, so much. We beat our goal, our sub goal. I'm just going to update it really quick. Joby's the best, longtime friend of the show. It's good to see you. I didn't see you on Monday. I always make note if I do or do not see you. Okay. Sorry, wrong goal. I'm going to... There we go. Let me just change this so we'll stop highlighting in red. Okay. Thank you so much, Joby. You're amazing. Cannot thank you enough. Okay. Oh, and here's the longer part. Like the clip Rachel Maddow was playing was the woman who started talking about Alligator Alcatraz, which again, I could show you exactly how we could afford universal health care just by eliminating private prisons in the United States and for-profit prisons. We are spending $450 million a year to keep Alligator Alcatraz running, which, by the way, a federal judge is considering shutting down. Yeah, as a matter of fact. And Tom Oman's like, who cares if we're ruining the environment?
My question is fiscal. With $450 million FEMA dollars being reallocated to open Alligator Alcatraz and $600 million taxpayer FEMA dollars being used to now open more concentration camps and ICE burning through $8.4 million a day to illegally detain people, how much does it cost for fascism? How much do the taxpayers have to pay for a fascist country?
And again, we know now, which by the way, I guess I didn't do a piece on this, but I was reading articles on it. You remember all of the people who were thrown into a concentration camp in El Salvador? Again, we didn't deport people. We are paying millions of our tax dollars to have another essentially Guantanamo Bay, a place outside of U.S. jurisdiction where we're torturing people. You know, Andrew, the gay makeup artist who had entered the United States, entered legally, never committed a crime, along with, there's like, I think of the 280 something people, I mean, I think 190 of them had never committed a crime in their lives in any country. A lot of them just got back to Venezuela. Andrew, the gay makeup artist from Venezuela that was accused of being TDA, of part of Tren de Aragua because of tattoos, even though every expert on that gang has now testified in hearings that there are no tattoos associated with TDA. Trump just made that up and started sticking people in prison. Well, he's back with his family in Venezuela. And that's the question okay. So this is just a piece that was done for The Bulwark called What Do We Owe Andrew? Our country sent this young man and hundreds of others to a foreign gulag to be tortured and sexually assaulted. The most piercing question from Watergate, which I love, which Lawrence O'Donnell keeps bringing up, is what did we know and when did we know it, right? What did the president know and when did he know it? The most piercing question from El Salvador deportation scandal might be, what did we all know and what did we do about it? We sent innocent people who entered the country legally, made an appointment in an app, had asylum court dates they were attending. We sent them to be tortured in concentration camps that our tax dollars are actively paying for. When we know that they had committed no crimes anywhere on earth, we let them be tortured. I don't know if anyone's read. I mean, their faces were bashed into walls. They were sexually assaulted. They were beaten. They were starved. They had to defecate and pee on themselves. I mean, anything you can imagine that would happen to these people happened who had never committed a crime in their lives. And our tax dollars paid for it. And Trump's trying to quietly ship them away and not talk about it anymore. How much do we owe these people who we paid as a country with our tax dollars to torture in a concentration camp? I mean, you tell me, Sorry, hold on. I want to. So it was within. Wait, hold on. It became clear not long after the Trump administration deported more than 250 Venezuelans in March to an El Salvadoran mega prison that they would be abused, tortured, or worse. The White House surely knew it, right? They made videos celebrating that these people were being tortured. Innocent people who only committed the crime of having a great tan, like myself. So the Washington Post article aptly was called Welcome to Hell, reporting on what was done to André Jose Hernandez Romero at Secot. Now out of the prison, he and most of the other 250 Venezuelans, which I remember one time I was debating and some idiot, because MAGA, you guys are so dumb. I mean, so dumb. It's painful. Kept yelling, if you can't name their names, then they don't exist or something at me. Yeah, this is a hyperlink to all the people's names that you celebrated being tortured who were not criminals. Were suddenly released last month and sent to Venezuela. Suddenly released last month. Did you guys hear about this? Did you know? And sent to Venezuela. He recounted for the Post his harrowing experience. He was beaten and tortured for months, he said. And when he attempted to soothe a throbbing headache by bathing, 4 guards entered with their clubs and sexually assaulted him, forcing him to perform oral sex. This is a man who committed no crimes, made the mistake of having a crown with his mom's name and a crown with his dad's name. Entered, qualified for asylum, had legal court dates, was snatched. Our tax dollars were used to take him outside of the country and torture and grape him over and over and over, while MAGA laughed about it. The former inmate said they couldn't see the sun, but could sometimes hear the rain. They described Secot as a place fit for animals, which, by the way, and I did pieces on this, Secot has long been known as a torture chamber in the International Criminal Court and by the UN. There were, political opponents. The president of El Salvador's political opponents came out of there with pieces of their brain missing. And you guys cheered this on. Because you can't read or do math. Our tax dollars paid to torture innocent humans, as you all cheered. If anyone wants to request it and tell me why this is okay, I will listen. Human rights organizations believe the prisoners' treatment at Secot violated, well, we know it did. They were already being investigated by the United Nations Convention Against Torture, to which both the United Nations and El Salvador are parties. Such violent treatment paired with sexual assault and forced disappearances, quote, if proved to be systematic and known to the government, can all constitute crimes against humanity. So, I mean, that's the reality. Well, we're all just pretending this is great. Do you understand the difference between deporting people and kidnapping people and torturing and raping them somewhere? And giving millions and millions of dollars to people to torture and rape human beings who've committed zero crimes? MAGA, are you capable of thinking your way through that? Because this is what you are responsible for. You are responsible for this. Your vote is on record. You are responsible for all of this. If you're not going to renounce Donald Trump and actively spend all your time saying, I made a giant mistake, I can't believe I supported someone who was torturing human beings, then you are complicit in every second of this and should be punished accordingly. I was just following orders is not an excuse. Or, hey, I'm an insecure white racist male who's scared that my piece of the pie is going to be taken by brown people, so I actively supported the torture of other human beings. I don't think history will remember you well. I mean, that's just me thinking out loud.
Given your full-throated support of the bill, whatever we call it, and your view of the facts, I'd like to know how you expect to pay back all of this debt that is going to be layered onto our grandchildren because we're not willing to make our rich part of our society pay their fair share.
So what's interesting about that, and I think it's a fair question, two things are happening here. People in here are upset with me that I voted to cut $2 trillion in spending from the budget.
Given your full-throated...
Just want to be clear, because I actually can do math. Mike Flood can't. They keep saying, I keep hearing Republicans saying they cut 2.2 trillion from the budget. They didn't. It was 1.2 trillion, nearest I can tell. But we're borrowing 3.3 trillion. Like, if you believe in any way any of that math will save our children or our children's children from being in debt, then you actually can't do math. Like, there's no way any of this makes sense. We have 50 years or 45 years of trickle down economic data. There's no trickle down. Whatever the argument was, which it's dumb of you all to get got for this long. We know there's no trickling down. It's not happening. There's no excuse for any of this. Oh, I don't even, that's so annoying. I found, this is what I was looking for. Sorry, some of these clips are just a little bit short and pointless, but this is Mike Flood coming out of like the stairwell or the bathroom. Watch this. Mike Flood voted to gut healthcare for millions. Now he's being stalked through the halls by women in handmaids' cloaks. Like the coward he is. He thought he could vote to strip us of care and walk away clean. Think again. You come for our bodies. We come for you. No peace for the oppressors. And I'm like, how does he not even realize any of this is happening? That hilarious. And it is funny because like I was just reading another report of how many women have died in southern states from being denied DNCs. I have to debate 18-year-old incels online all the time who don't understand that's another word for abortion. It is. Right? And just because men don't understand how women's bodies work because they've never touched or seen them and they're very angry about it, think somehow they're also experts on women's bodies at the same time. I was just reading numbers on how many women have recently unalived in southern states, and it's getting worse and worse because they don't have access to simple procedures they need to avoid sepsis. But hey, let's not do anything about it. Let's keep going. Okay, I want to get into the voting rights stuff now and like the Texas Democrats that broke quorum and have fled the state of Texas. Some of them are in New York, some in Illinois, some other places. I want to talk about that because, God, I've been seeing so much misinformation. It's driving me nuts. And Robert Reich, our de facto cult leader, made a short clip about it this morning. So I was like, about Shelby versus Holder and about even prior to what's happening now with Trump just being like, hey, I don't care. I'm going to gerrymander. States' rights, brother. We now have the federal government. This is the alleged party of states' rights, brother, calling up states, demanding 5 years after a census, which MAGA knows nothing about anything. Every 10 years, we do censuses and we redraw districts. Trump has 5 years in, 4.5 years in, demanded to just invent that white people need more representatives in the state of Texas, which I can tell you because I'm fascinated by the birth rates because we're in gross population decline in America. But the only people that are having children, particularly in Texas, tend to be who? Not white people. Hispanics. Black people, particularly Hispanics in rural areas. But for some reason, let me just make sure I get this straight. Democrats represent 45% of Texas, but according to the way that Greg Abbott wants to gerrymander the shit out of his state, yet again, we will have 21%, I believe, representation in Congress for the people of Texas. That's actual math, MAGA, not like, I feel like I'm a white middle-aged man and I feel like someone's taking something from me. So I support this man who says men shouldn't wear makeup and wears makeup every day because he told me that he's going, states' rights and everything's going to be okay again. While you actively erode states' rights, actively erode your own individual liberty, actively erode the checks and balances that could keep this psycho in check in the federal government. But states' rights, brother, you're doing the opposite. But, your brain would have to work to figure that out.
Supreme Court has been busy granting... While the Supreme Court has been busy granting corporations more power to influence...
I don't know why that.
Supreme Court has been busy granting. While the Supreme Court has been busy granting corporations more power to influence elections, they've been stripping actual people of their power to influence elections. In 2013, the Supreme Court gutted the 1965 Voting Rights Act in Shelby County versus Holder. The conservative justice's ruling stripped the pre-clearance requirement that states with a history of voter suppression must receive clearance from the federal government before enacting any new voting laws. The court essentially ruled that the racial voter suppression that the Voting Rights Act was intended to guard against no longer existed. In the years since, the very same states that were previously subjected to pre-clearance have passed a wave of voter suppression laws. Unsurprisingly, these laws disproportionately affect voters of color. The Supreme Court has been busy granting... While the Supreme...
No, but don't explain to MAGA that you're diluting your own power. That's the most fascinating thing. And you would think, I used to think, okay, MAGA, the average MAGA is dumb. But the people they must be voting for, they're not dumb, right? This is how... I'm telling you how my brain used to work 2 years ago. I'd be like, but these people aren't dumb. I remember making this argument 2 years ago. And I remember saying okay, MAGA are definitely dumb. Oh, sorry, puzzle piece. Give me a second. Uh-oh. There we go. We're good. I remember thinking MAGA's dumb, but the people they're electing are less dumb. And why? And I remember sitting there saying this. Why would somebody who's not dumb sit in the legislative branch? That's Congress, MAGA. I know you have no idea what those words mean. Because I've tried to ask several of you to name the 3 branches of Congress and you couldn't. Or sit in the judicial branch and cede power, give up their own power to a dictator. Yeah, I was like, that wouldn't make sense. If I was a power-hungry, lying, grifting a-hole, I wouldn't cede my own power to another power-hungry, lying, grifting a-hole. Oh, no, I was wrong. MAGA is dumb as shit. There's no end to the idiocy. Okay, and Lisa McClain, whenever Matt and I do our lives on Tuesdays, we're always talking about his rep, Claudia Tenney. Lisa McClain is as bad as Claudia Tenney. She's one of the people I'm just what the is wrong with you? Truly, what is wrong with you, lady? And I just this is the logic, which there's no logic. Trump's doing something not right, and I just want you to watch how Lisa McClain explains that this is okay.
Texas Republicans are arguing their redistricting push is about making the state more competitive. But you heard the president there say the quiet part out loud that he believes the GOP is, quote, entitled to 5 more House seats. Which is it?
Yeah, well, of course I'm going to side with the president. Listen, I think what we're doing is right, is we need to have more representation. And I do believe the president is right. And I don't think
Say the numbers again. Texas is already gerrymandered. I just want to be clear. I'm talking about since the 2020 census, it was gerrymandered. 45% of the state identifies as Democrats. 21% of the representatives sent to Congress are Democrats. They do this by gerrymandering and diluting the brown and black populations around the state. Like, yeah, you've already done that, Lisa. And I just want to be clear, and I have the quote or the clip somewhere, but I'm not going to go find it. Trump literally said that. I mean, he's not denying that it's wrong. He's just saying, I deserve it. I deserve more Republican seats in Texas. Mathematically, you do not. I can say I'm from a state, Arizona, even though we have a blue governor, 2 blue senators. I mean, our maps are messed up. 42% of this state is Hispanic, period. And then you could tack on black people and indigenous people on top of that. The majority of this state is not white, and this state is gerrymandered within an inch of its life. I mean, nothing like Texas, but I'm just saying this happens everywhere. And I'm going to introduce this idea over and over and over. This is what I mean by saying we can't do the right thing anymore. The left has to do the wrong thing, and we've got to do it wronger. We've got to do it wronger than the Republicans. We cannot sit by and watch them gerrymander and cheat and just be like, everything will work out, while they're cheating their faces off, gerrymandering, diluting minority populations in the South. What do you think we've been up to in blue states? We've been passing laws to only allow independent, nonpartisan third parties to draw maps. Is that going to help us beat a bunch of racist, bigoted, lying fascists? No, it is not. No, it is not. That's the issue. While we are actually in blue states that we have supermajorities making things as fair as they could possibly be, in red states, they're cheating and cheating and cheating. Jojo, thank you so much for extending your subscription. I appreciate it so much. Let's keep... Oh, God, sorry. My iPad just almost ate it.
We're doing is breaking the law. We are just, for the first time in a long time, playing the same game as the Democrats have played for years. And quite frankly, they don't
understand, because Lisa McClain is an idiot. And no offense, Lisa, I'm not saying that because she's a woman. It's not because she's a woman. Republicans are idiots. Period. So I just don't want you to think I'm not getting on her because she's a woman. I try not to attack women who happen to be Republicans. Thank you, Maxwell, for subscribing again. And I'm sorry for being a rad resistor. Love you, Maxwell. I haven't seen you in a while on YouTube. But do you see what this is? This is classic Freudian gaslighting. Like pointing your finger and saying, hey, what I'm guilty of, I'm just going to point my finger at someone else and say they did it. You're saying that we have been gerrymandering? No, we haven't. As a matter of fact, and Maggie, you can't read or do math, so you won't be able to do any of this. But for those of us who can research, I can show you every single law that's been passed in blue states where there's supermajorities that make way for independent, nonpartisan commissions to district states, to create fair districts based on real population growth, right? That's what blue states have been doing. And she's like, oh, we're just now. So and I'm very sensitive to this because I was raised by a malignant narcissist. So I just want you to listen of how narcissism, you don't have to have narcissistic personality disorder inside of capitalism to pick up on how it works, to gaslight people, to point your finger and saying, don't look at us. Hey, what we're doing, I'm just going to point and accuse someone else. And this is one of the dumbest people I've ever heard speak. And she's smart enough to do it.
representation. And I do believe the president is right. And I don't think what we're doing is breaking the law. We are just, for the first time in a long time, playing the same game as the Democrats have played for years. And quite frankly, they don't like it and they're not used to it. So we'll see how this turns out. But at the end of the day, I hope we pick up 5 more seats, right? I hope we pick up more seats in other places because our policies are what's going to win us the seats as well. Not just the seats, but it's our policies, Wolf.
Your policies that are robbing all of us to give more to billionaires and corporations. Somehow I doubt it, Lisa. You're a fucking liar. Like, how can someone this dumb? This is how I know MAGA's dumb. This is literally one of the dumbest people I've ever heard speak. And MAGA's like, yep, that makes sense. Like, MAGA, that's how I know you're dumb. Is because you hear people who are this dumb talking and you're like, yep, couldn't mean the opposite, that I'm being robbed and I'm a giant idiot. I definitely don't need to look into any of this.
Again, I just keep going back to it. We didn't make the rules of the game. We're just, for the first time in a long time, playing by the rules of the game. And
but the rules of the game, Congresswoman, with all due respect, the rules of the game always traditionally have been after a census. Every 10 years, there's a new census in the United States. That's when you can redraw.
To be clear, she's saying the Democrats broke the rules and now we're just breaking them too. That's incorrect. They broke the rules first, foremost, and only. Period. What are you talking about? Censuses are every 10 years. That's when you redistrict. Now you are breaking the rules. And Lisa Idiot McClain either got a bunch of talking points. I mean, her job is just to S Trump's D 24 hours a day and lie for him. Like, you cannot be this dumb.
The districts based on where the populations have evolved to. This is a new deal now. In the middle will be, there's no decade new census now. They're just doing it now, Republicans. I don't think the Democrats have actually done it in advance, so many years ahead of a new census.
Yeah, I wish you'd put up the Illinois map as well. That's a good map to show as well. But with all due respect, and I appreciate that argument, Wolf, is there's nothing that says we can't.
I just want to be clear, in MAGA, this will never include you, but there are university classes you can take taught by history professors on the history of voter suppression and gerrymandering. And it always starts in the same place with conservatives in the South who wanted to stop Black and brown people from voting, and it has emanated into the rest of the country. And I love now, like, I just want you to notice, this is how abusers are, right? Like, I was raised by a malignant narcissist much smarter than Trump, and it was like, she would abuse me and abuse me and abuse me, and if I would fight back and defend myself, she'd be like, you're abusing me. Right? Like, if you start playing the same game, if you get hip to the game, if you're like, wait, why is this working like this? Like, none of this makes sense. Then they point at you and they're like, wait, you're abusing them. No, you're just trying to stop yourself from being abused. But then they point at you and they're like, no, now you're abusing me. So you're like, wait a minute, am I? And I think Democrats have started to, like, for so long have been those people. Like, Republicans will be like, no, they're gerrymandering. If we spent the rest of our lives gerrymandering every map in a state we had a supermajority, we would never equal the amount of voter suppression that has occurred in the South. It was born in the South, during Reconstruction. It lives there, it breathes there, it grows there every single day. And for them to then point at us and be like, oh, it's you, like, hey, I don't know how stupid you think people are. Well, I do know why, because MAG is so stupid. Like, I mean, you guys are beyond help, but not all of us are stupid. And some of us grew up with people much smarter than Trump gaslighting us. Like, Lisa, it's sad.
Can't do it now. It's just, we are doing it now. And President Trump, as you know, is bold, is aggressive, and he's playing within his purview. And that's it. He's not doing anything wrong. He's trying to right side.
Just want everyone to understand that when we gerrymander the shit out of California, remember that. That no one's doing anything wrong. It's all within our purview, right? When Trump cheats, lies, steals, breaks laws, refuses to use the money Congress appropriated for the appropriate things, has done every single thing Nixon has done times 1,000. They're like, he's bold, he's aggressive. Just keep that same energy when it starts coming back at you. Just remember that Trump's bold, Trump's aggressive, Trump's not a criminal. Make sure you keep that energy, creepy Lisa.
What has been wronged for so long, right? Massachusetts, let's talk about Maryland, let's talk about Illinois. He's bold, he's aggressive, and he is going to fight for the Republican Party. That's his job, and that's exactly what he's doing.
So I just want to be clear, every value that the Republican Party says in their charter they stand for, Trump is actively opposed to. He blew out the deficit. He borrowed when he shouldn't have. Like every single thing Trump ran on, he went against. So every word this woman says is factually untrue. She's just a professional, like, fluffer. Truly.
Do we believe in our democracy? Do we believe in our Constitution? Do we believe in voting rights? Because if we do, now is the time. This is the fight. If not now, when? If you're not going to fight now, when are you going to fight? Stand up, join us right now as the Democratic Party as we stand with these brave patriots, and they are patriots. These Texas House members, that's patriotism. Unlike this bozo, this orange-faced bozo in the White House who calls himself a patriot as he's shredding the Constitution, as he's trampling on voting rights. Let's call it out for what it is. It's bullshit, and we're going to stand up and fight.
Orange-faced bozo? Oh my God, what an accurate description. Orange-faced bozo in makeup who says men shouldn't wear makeup. Yeah, puts makeup on every day. Super weird. Nobody can make sense of it. Oh, except MAGA. Because they're into it. Oh, here's another good moment from Brett myself.
I'm against gerrymandering in general, right? I think it's horrible that politicians are able to choose their own voters. But that does not mean that we could unilaterally disarm and you just allow parties to do that while you just stand by and let them run you over with a truck. I mean, that makes zero sense to me. So I'm happy that you have governors like Newsom and Hochul who are speaking out and are saying, well, if you're going to do that, well, we're going to do that too. And I want to remind everybody also, because Democrats are so graded on a curve and they're not actually given any credit for the things that they actually do try to push. I want to remind you to one of the first things that the Democrats tried to do back in 2021 after President Biden took office then. They tried to pass what? The Freedom to Vote Act. This was one of their big pieces of legislation that they tried to put forward. In 2021,
God, I said this like a week ago in a debate, and they're like, no, yeah, thank you. Oh, a white man saying it, so maybe people will receive the information. Biden tried to pass a law that would have stopped Trump from doing any of this. And guess who wouldn't vote for it? I'll give you a hint. It's all the Republicans.
Freedom to Vote Act banned partisan gerrymandering. It was one of the big provisions of the act. And it wasn't like some lefty, out there far left bill as like the Republicans like to explain. This was a bill to reform our election system. It banned partisan gerrymandering. It required voter ID, something that Republicans like to say that Democrats are totally against. Guess what? Not a single Republican voted for the Freedom to Vote Act. That would have solved all of these issues. Democrats had a bill in Congress, in the Senate, that would have codified a ban on partisan gerrymandering, and the Republicans blocked it. That's something that we need to be calling out here. And you could run that, by the way, on every issue that Republicans try to pin on the Democrats. Case in point, the border, right? Who put forward the border bill? It was President Biden's big initiative. He got with a conservative Republican senator, a very conservative Republican senator, James Lankford. They put together this bipartisan border bill, something that was probably honestly far more strict than a lot of Democrats even wanted, honestly. But Democrats were on board to pass this because they actually wanted to fix the issue. What did Republicans do? They voted it down. They threw every name at Democrats in the book. They had Trump attacking James Lankford for working with Democrats. Trump openly said that he wanted to go against that bill because it would help the Democrats. He didn't care about helping the country. He just wanted to make the border and make these situations as bad as possible to help with his election chances. We see Republicans cynically using all of these issues time and time again, rather than approaching them as, how do we actually solve this issue? How do we solve the issue on the border? How do we solve the issue of partisan gerrymandering? They take it and they try to weaponize it to use it against Democrats and use it to get themselves elected and entrench themselves with power. We see it every single time on every single bill, so we got to call it out. I'm against gerrymandering.
And I think that is such a good point, right? Like, Trump has still, and again, MAGA can't read or do math, so it's impossible. I don't know how we get them to understand that they're idiots. Because, I mean, it's like watching toddlers be like, I know everything. Are you sure? Or are you just a toddler screaming for a snack and a nap? Like, right? Have we passed meaningful, right? You guys are so concerned with the border. Have we passed immigration law? Have we passed any meaningful immigration law that would change anything? Absolutely not. What do we have? We have a bunch, follow the money, which MAGA, you can't do math or read, so it's going to be very hard for you. But some of us have, and we know that Trump pretending to care about immigration was just a mass money grab. It was funding the growth of private prisons. It's just billions and billions of dollars being moved in the hands of corporations and billionaires. Look up GeoCore and Civic Group. You can use opensecrets.org. Look up which Congress people, I think 83% of them last time I did this on Open Secrets, 83% of the people who were bribed by Geo Group and Core Civic were Republicans. There are some moderate Democrats who accepted some money, but yeah, I think 83% are Republicans. This was all a money grab. Then follow the stock positions in Geo Group and Core Civic and who is profiting off of this. Like, you guys are idiots. You want closed? Why not just change the law? Why not? Use your brains, MAGA. You can do it. You tell me why someone who has control of the House, the Senate, the White House, and the Supreme Court doesn't just change immigration law. Why? What would be the reason to not make a meaningful change to immigration law? Can someone explain that? Oh, because this is not about constitutionality. It's not about the law. As a matter of fact, it's about the opposite. It's about violating those things. We're creating concentration camps and violating the law, violating constitutional rights. You sent a bunch of brown people to be tortured in the new Guantanamo who silently have been released after being raped, beaten, and tortured on record. And our tax dollars paid for it. Our tax dollars are paying for concentration camps. It's the weirdest thing to not just change the law around that, though, and just transfer billions and billions and billions of dollars to corporations and rich people. I do think that's pretty crazy. Sorry. And Kathy Hochul, so I was going to play this on Monday, but then a lot of things happened. Someone asked, by the way, hold on. I just want to make sure. Sorry, and I did see your question. I know, I catch a lot of weird things. Someone asked who this is that called Trump an orange face bozo. This is Ken Martin, right? Like, he's the chair of the Democratic Party. I guess it would be, if you don't know, I was going to say he's a Wisconsinite. That's Ken Martin, who called Trump an orange-faced bozo. He's the chair of the Democratic Party. So yeah, if you're like, who the F is that guy? It's the chair of the Democratic Party. I believe. And if I'm wrong, someone correct me, but That's Ken Martin. I was like thinking about it when I saw the question. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's Ken Martin. Yeah, that's who I assume it is. And if I'm wrong, someone correct me. But I just looked up a picture of him on another screen because I was like, it's him. Because yeah, I was like, I don't want to get it wrong. It's Ken Martin. That's the chair of the Democratic Party, which I take issue with him on other things, right? Like, I don't know. I don't always love him, but yeah, I think he got that one. Nailed it. So on Monday, Kathy Hochul, right, alongside Jay Pritzker and other places where these Texas Democrats fled, started doing press conference saying like, yeah, we can't wait to gerrymander our state too.
Chris, last decade we redid redistricting. Hard to say. Do you think, given this situation where we've had these court battles, everything, that in this 2027 amendment that you may put forward, that the Independent Redistricting Commission should be disbanded or changed in some way so that you don't have to go through that again in 32?
Yes. I'm tired of fighting this fight with my hand tied behind my back. With all due respect to the good government groups, politics is a political process. And to think that we're going to do this with a purity test and make sure it's completely fair to everybody involved, the reason we are able to draw the lines because we're Democrats, because the majority of people in this state elected us to be leaders. And when we say that we cannot use that power to its fullest, then we're abdicating the responsibility that we all have. Republicans take over the legislature, they can have at it. But until then, we're in charge, and we're sick and tired of being pushed around when other states don't have the same aspirations that we always have had. And I hold those dear. But I cannot ignore that the playing field has changed dramatically. And shame on us if we ignore that fact and cling tight to the vestiges of the past. That era is over. Donald Trump eliminated that forever.
Someone asked, Deb asked, who is it? This is Kathy Hochul. This is the government. Well, basically, this is the governor of New York saying, hey, what Gavin Newsom is going to do in California, what J.B. Pritzker is going to do in Illinois, I will do also. I'm going to gerrymander the shit out of this state. And I just want to play the last one. Listen to this because we're going to have to do some tough love, right? Because and I just want everyone to know, because I think, and you guys can all help me, when people say, Felice is so mean online, I'm not mean. Actually, I'm the fucking nicest person. That's my problem. I'm too nice. And I will posit that is all of our problems. We are too nice. We care too much. We try too hard to do the right thing. And I am telling you, we are going to try to do the right thing right up into fascist authoritarian slavery, right? That's the choice. The high road until we all end up in a camp, or we use our brains, which work way better than these people's. I mean, we just have a bunch of sheep following a bunch of a-holes, right? Or we oppose these people. And I mean this genuinely, because I think the average MAGA person they are idiots. I mean, statistically on paper, they are idiots. So, these are just idiots who can't find their way out of a paper bag, coupled with the racism, but we know, I mean, I'm not going to get into studies and how I know this, but the lack of education leads to what? Crime, abuse against women, all sorts of things, right? And once education enters a given area, then a lot of things get better for a lot of people, right? Poverty, abuse against women, all sorts of racism, bigotry, all sorts of things change when people get an education. So I think I think MAGA, I'm not trying to present them as not horrible assholes who believe they're being discriminated against and are displaying bigotry and racism. I think that is happening, but I genuinely think, I don't think if they wanted real information, they could find it to save their lives. So I do think while we all sit here and think, things are going to change, we'll just do the right thing, Nothing's going to change. We have to force change now. And that's going to get ugly. So when people are like, no, we need to take the high road. I'm sorry, we're not taking, no. We can't do that. And we're going to have to, people who are still saying that on the left, we're going to have to lovingly yet forcefully get them away from that idea.
Draw the lines because we're Democrats, because the majority of people in this state selected us, elected us to be leaders. And when we say that we cannot use that power to its fullest, then we're abdicating the responsibility that we all have. Republicans take over the legislature,
You know that paper is more
they can have at it.
sophisticated now than computers.
But until then, we're in charge, and we're sick and tired of being pushed around when other states don't have the same aspirations that we always have had. And I hold those dear. But I cannot ignore that the playing field has changed dramatically. And shame on us if we ignore that fact and cling tight to the vestiges of the past. That era is over. Donald Trump eliminated that forever.
Exactly. The vestiges of the past. MAGA has no idea what that means, but that's the truth. We can no longer cling to, hey, the guardrails of democracy will hold, and there's a public contract, this, idea that we're all going to just do our best to do the right thing. As long as we cling to that and we don't use every single thing we have in our arsenal to fight back, then we have no one to blame when our children and our children's children are drowning in debt and are slaves. So yeah, we have to get past that now. It is war.
And I thank them so much for making this journey. You are on the right side of history. And you're not alone. We are in solidarity with each and every one of you and your colleagues in another state.
Just want to be clear. This is a press conference where Kathy Hochul was welcoming the Democratic representatives that broke quorum in Texas. Some of them went to Illinois. Some went to New York. That's who she's talking to.
Hosted by my great friend, J.B. Pritzker, who welcome you as well. As I said, history will judge us on how we respond to this moment. But here in New York, we will not stand on the sidelines with the timid souls on the sidelines who don't care, will not invest their heart and soul into this battle. This is a war. We are at war. And that's why the gloves are off, and I say, bring it on.
If the gloves are not off, you're lost, and you have no idea what's going on in this country. It's already too late. I just want to be clear, but I'm glad to hear that people are like, oh shit, like this is the last stand. We might not even be able to win. Like it might already be over, but we need to fucking try and stop saying, oh, we're not the Republicans. We don't get in the mud. No, I'm about to be covered straight to hell is where we're going. That's how you beat malignant narcissism. It's not by being like, I'll just do the right thing. And one day people who lack effective empathy are going to grow it. No, that is biologically impossible.
Governor, why would it be unfair to say that New York Democrats are abandoning good government and good democracy in an effort to save democracy?
Well, that's an interesting question. But if that's what's called for, I will put saving democracy as my top priority at any cost because it is under siege. Just like those who put on a uniform to fight in battles across the ages. For centuries, we've stood up and fought. Blood has been shed. This is our moment in 2025 to stand up for all that we hold dear and not let it be destroyed by a bunch of renegades in a place called Texas, which I respect these people. But we've had our battles with them, the Attorney General, the Senator. We know who we stand with. We stand with the people of this country.
Governor.
This is war. And I get it. We're all just trying to survive in capitalism. But I promise you, I remember 2 or 3 months ago, I was talking about hey, we need to whatever. I was talking about like the mechanisms we had to fight back. I was talking about general strikes and people like, who can afford to take off work? Like, I think people are still not grasping that like this is the last chance. This is the last stand. Like, it will only get worse. Wages will only go down. Inflation will only go up. Interest rates will only rise. We are in stagflation now. Once you are in stagflation as a result of tariffs, there's no way to fix this economy. We are in a quagmire that we are damned if we do, damned if we don't. There's nothing that anything we have to try to wrest control back from these impotent weirdos who are on their knees giving Andrew Jacksons to a man that says men shouldn't wear makeup but has a full face of makeup on. Like, we have to do it now. We are out of time. I just want to, and these are some clips of Abbott making up a bunch of lies about the people who broke quorum and left the state.
Oh, certainly it should be somewhat proportional to what the vote is. What is your response to Kathy Hochul, who says that we are at war over Texas and the redistricting push that's going on in Texas?
That's a bunch of crazy bluster. Democrats are freaking out because they are realizing Texas has the authority to redistrict, and we're going to do so in a way that's going to lead to these additional seats that will vote Republican, and they will be serving in Congress in the next session. And so Democrats are freaking out about it, engaging in rhetoric, but I don't think they have the capability of actually living up to it and doing anything about it. Texas will continue to fight for what is right, and that's exactly what we are doing.
This loser just called us cowards. Like, basically said, we're real criminals. We violate the law all the time. What he said is Democrats don't have the stomach for this. Like, I do. But that's what we need to decide. Like, what do you have the stomach for? How far are you willing to go to get control of this country? And that's what I'm saying. I cannot, if you've listened to me for like 3 years now, you know, I've said this. Malignant narcissists don't stop. You have to stop them. And what you have to become to stop one, you're not going to like it. But this is not about how twisted and dark and disgusting of a person we're all about to become. It's about our children, our children's children, and the legacy of this country, right? It's the same way, like one of the reasons I like doing, I'm getting a little emotional, like doing Lives with Matt, is because I know like this, what you have to become to fight a war, it's gross. You don't recognize yourself anymore, right? You have to like sacrifice your morals, your ethics, like what you would normally behave like in a comfortable situation. And I'm telling you, like, this is the point. Stop thinking this is going to end in some way that's pretty. It's not.
I think Donald Trump won in all 5 of these seats that we will be making Republican seats. The same thing should apply in all those other states, Sean, that you mentioned in your monologue, where you pointed out the gross gerrymandering in these blue states have rejected Republican candidates for office that should be serving those states, should be serving our country. It's the gerrymandering in the blue states that has distorted the politics in America.
All right, Governor, good for you. Good for the fight.
See his face, like he can't even say the end. Watch Greg Abbott's face at the end there. Like, you can't even say it without like you're a pathological liar. Again, it is fascinating to watch people, narcissists, just point at other people, be like, exactly what I'm guilty of, I'm pointing at you and I'm accusing you of it. Like, okay, mom. Yeah, I was born. Yeah, I grew up with a mother just like Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott, you're a loser. Okay, so Robert Reich, our de facto cult leader, he is the former labor secretary of Bill Clinton, which oversees, like the whole group, the BLS, the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. So I just thought it was interesting to listen to this minute clip he made about Trump now Trump has actively been suppressing data for a while. And now that we know for a fact Trump is suppressing data and firing people for releasing the truth, I just want to remind everyone that in February, I started reporting that Trump was suppressing data and manipulating it. And everyone said I was lying. And white males were like, oh yeah, some women. I was like, no, actually it's white male economists that are reporting on this, and there's math to back it up, which is also being reported by Rupert Murdoch. And I'm like, when it comes out that Trump is suppressing government data, like, please don't be surprised. This is exactly what I was trying to say. He's also doing it around the inflation rate. Just to be clear, it's not just the jobs data. He's panicked because stagflation is here. He has no idea what to do because you can't do both. You can't create more jobs and combat the tariffs are raising inflation, right? The answer, what do you do when no one's hiring? You lower interest rates, you make it cheaper to borrow money, and then more people can create businesses and hire people. But when inflation is shooting like a rocket up and there's no pandemic in sight, what would you do? You would not lower interest rates. You hold them steady to try to control the inflation. And because of these tariffs, inflation is skyrocketing. So there's no answer to any of this. And Trump is now actively, has been for months, and I tried to say it months ago, and I had to listen to middle-aged MAGA people who can't read imply that I did not know what I was talking about. So anyways, here's a minute of Bill Clinton's former Labor Secretary Robert Reich talking about what Trump has done.
Trump is accusing the commissioner of falsifying this data. Break it down for us. Is that even possible? How would that happen?
I don't know how it would happen. I mean, this is another example of Donald Trump destroying America's trust in our valuable institutions that we rely on for data about what's happening. He shoots the messenger, and by shooting the messenger, you get a country that no longer has the kind of confidence in the information it gets from very, very competent places. The Bureau of Labor Statistics is the crown jewel of our data sources in the government for what is happening in the economy. It's like the Federal Reserve Board. Trump attacks the Fed because he doesn't like what the Fed is doing, and he is undermining the public's faith in these institutions. This is, in my book, this is treasonous.
In everyone's book, it should be, but MAGA also, just like Trump, can't read or do math, so they don't understand. Like, just say, I don't understand. PKM24, thank you for the 3 giveaway subs. I appreciate it so much. I'm trying to get to the 430 goal. Thank you so much. You don't know how much I appreciate that. So again, and I have some more Robert Reich. Robert Reich has been on a roll, but I wanted to show, oh my God, sorry. I meant to do something. Before I say something that's incorrect, I just need to Google someone's name because I know I'm about to. Okay. Just making sure, because I was like, I'm about to say something. Okay, Larry Summers, who is, I have confirmed, he's also an economist, and he's the former United States Secretary of Treasury. I just can't remember who. Does anyone remember? I know he went to Harvard. Who was Larry Summers the Treasury Secretary for? From 1999 2001. So what is that? W? No, I don't even know how long. Is that George Bush? Is that H? Who is 1999 to 2001? Is that the first? Is that HW? That's the first George Bush? Yeah. HW. Right? Not Clinton. Clinton's after, right? The first. Yeah, Father Bush. Father Bush. Yeah, wait. hold on, 1999, or is it Clinton? 1999, is that Clinton? What the? Hold on, who? Why? I'm sorry. This is getting into a point where I was like 5, like I don't know, or 2. I don't. Yeah. Okay. So Clinton. Okay. Because I'm like, wait, 2000, 2001. Wait, hold on. Let me just read. I need to go back to a different page. Is an American economist who served as United States Secretary of Treasury from 99 to 2001. When did Clinton? Yeah, okay, Clinton. Whatever. Anyways, I just want to be, but why did he leave? That's another thing to look at. And then he went, and then during Obama years, oh my God, if I can do, yeah, it's definitely Obama, was the director of the National Economic Council. Oh, and in between that, I didn't know any of this. I'm looking this up in real time. He was the president of Harvard from 2001 to 2006. Damn, I didn't know that. Anyways, so again, now we all know a lot about, and the H stands for Henry. What H? Larry H. Summers. Apparently, it's Henry. Okay, and I thought, like, listening to this, it's very, God, ew. This is a bad picture. 2018. Ew. Okay, this is good though. Listen.
I guess this firing of the BLS commissioner goes in the category of shocking but not surprising.
Yeah, I mean, this is way beyond anything that Richard Nixon ever did. I'm surprised that other officials have not responded by resigning themselves, as took place when Richard Nixon fired people lawlessly. This is a preposterous charge. These numbers are put together by teams of literally hundreds of people following detailed procedures that are in manuals. There's no conceivable way that the head of the BLS could have manipulated this number. The numbers are in line with what we're seeing from all kinds of private sector sources. This is the stuff of democracies giving way to authoritarianism. Firing statisticians goes with threatening the heads of newspapers. It goes with launching assaults on universities. It goes with launching assaults on law firms that defend clients that the elected boss finds uncongenial. This is really scary stuff, and it can hardly be surprising that when the rule of law is a bit in question, that there's a big uncertainty premium in the markets that is operating to both make there be less investment, which slows the economy down, and also means there's less supply so that there's more inflationary pressure.
Adding to that uncertainty, I guess this firing of the BLS.
Preach. I cannot even, less supply. I've been doing a lot of economic research, and hopefully we get to some more of these clips, but that is really what has happened. The less supply is devastating our economy. I want to go back a little bit to Abbott, though, because this is yesterday, another interview he did where he started to get like more insane and start saying he's like going to arrest people and all of this, and like this rhetoric is continuing to escalate.
I spoke to Representative Oliverson here in Texas, and he made me aware, which I was not aware, that some of the Democrats who are not showing up for a quorum are actually still here in the state. So is it the case that you could actually arrest those representatives and bring them back to Austin to establish a quorum?
So that is correct. And Will, as we're talking right now, Texas Department of Public Safety officers are on the streets looking for those Democrat House members to arrest them and to take them to the Texas Capitol and hold them there until a quorum is reached.
All right. And then
just want to be clear. MAGA, if this sounds correct to you, again, this is just yet the 10,836 sign that none of you can read. You must know that your own governor of Texas doesn't know the law of Texas. Like, I find it fascinating. And again, I'm just saying this because, like, my dad, who I love very much, I take care of every day, watches Fox News. And it's like, I watch him, like, just ingesting it like Bible, like facts. The news couldn't lie to me. Guess everything they're saying is like, yeah, that's definitely a lie. But I guess you would have to be able to read or understand the Texas Constitution or the Texas Penal Code to know part of the Texas Constitution is allowance to break quorum. There is no felony. There's no there's no part of the penal code that allows him to do any of what she just said. I think he's describing kidnapping, which is a felony under the Texas Penal Code. And like, you're all so dumb that you're like, yep, this guy we just keep electing, no matter how dumb and how corrupt he is and how much of a weirdo that's essing a guy with orange makeups on D every day. Like, he doesn't even know the law of Texas or is pathologically lying to us all on national television. And I don't think that's concerning at all. Yeah, none of that is correct. This guy's just on national TV pathologically lying. Or should I say Fox Entertainment, where we're all very much not entertained.
And that May, I'm not sure how many, can you tell me how many different representatives that we're talking about are in the state of Texas? I believe you're 6 short right now of a quorum. Would that number bring you to a quorum?
So that's a fact that we don't know yet. We don't know which Democrats remain in the state who are not yet identified. We don't know exactly how many are out of state, but know this also, Will, and that is the Texas Department of Public Safety is also working with officials in other states to find ways in which we can try to arrest the Texas Democrat members in other states and bring them back to the state of Texas.
Oh, you're going to kidnap people outside state of Texas. You're describing a federal felony. You're now describing that you are having people cross state lines to kidnap individuals, yet you're talking about yourself a felony. Like, what the is going on? And this is how dumb MAGA is. They're like, yep, makes sense. Like, don't you think in the rise of fascism, it might be a good idea to learn your rights or like what the law actually says? Your governor is describing kidnapping people just like he did when they were kidnapping women and dragging them back to the South to force them to give birth and or bleed out. And you guys were fine with that. I guess I should have seen this coming. Christy, thank you so much for the $10 on Venmo. Sorry, I was on a different screen and didn't see. We're not going to become dark. We are matching energy. Thank you. That's so beautiful to say. We're not going to become dark. We're matching energy. It takes sacrifice, but our children and grandchildren are worth it. And God, don't make me cry. Thank you, Christy, because that's what I'm saying. And honestly, the same darkness that exists inside, like, people always wonder, like, why aren't you married? Why don't you have kids? Because I just can't risk what I went through as a child, like, affecting my own children, because I love children so much, because I am a teacher. And, like, I'm never going to, like, put my own shit on them. But I will say, I'm so glad this is all happening, because now I can see a way forward and a purpose for me. Because it's true. Like, things are going to get worse before they're going to get better. And we need people who want to roll around in the mud with idiots who aren't going to be hard to beat. But you have to this is not going to be, hey, everything's going to work itself out, just fingers crossed. That's not how this ends. That's not the way this is going to end. And if you somehow were raised in a family where you all hugged and loved each other, I'm so happy for you. But for the rest of us that weren't, which I think is now by and large the vast majority of America, it's time to call upon your dark skill set. And all of those things, you're like, why is this happening to me as a child? I don't want to hate myself and everyone around me. It's time to conjure that back Bring it up and rain down holy hell upon the stupid idiots in America who are too dumb to save themselves. And Jimmy, thank you so much for the $50 on Venmo. I appreciate you. Don't know what this means to me. And I thank you so much. I mean that genuinely. Everything I do on the people's receipts is based on donations and gifts and subscriptions. So, like, I just can't express enough how much I appreciate it. And who did these? Wayne! Wayne's like, here's 10 subscriptions. I'm in New Zealand. Like, fight off fascism so my own life isn't ruined. I know. You hang out there, Wayne, and we're going to do what we can for you. Thank you for always being here from New Zealand. You're the best, Wayne. I just cannot express enough. Oh, and Lush and I Hate It. I don't know if I forgot to say it. I saw it, though. Thank you for the giveaway sub earlier. If I didn't say it, I did see it, though. I always clock you. Love you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. We met our sub goal. I'm going to update it quickly. It's so weird. It's like TikTok Studio updates some goals and not others. I'm going to do the gift goal, too. So, because, sorry, things pop up and repeatedly tell me until I do it to do it. Okay. Just making up arbitrary numbers. Okay. Got it. Oh, this is...
Next question.
Prepare yourselves. This is like the sickest moment of Greg Abbott yesterday where I was like, oh, okay. So this is what I'm saying. Stop thinking things are going to work out. Whatever little seed of darkness is inside of you when you were wronged as a child and in no power to change it, like, it's time to call upon that and use our much bigger brains to ruin these people's lives.
I was going to ask you, Governor, of course, Texas DPS would have limited powers to arrest anyone out of state. Most of these Democrats have fled the state for that express purpose. Representative Oliverson has said that both you and Attorney General Ken Paxton, though, have looked into whether or not they're funding these trips or fundraising off of these trips, which would amount to bribery. Would that open up the potential for you to go retrieve some of these representatives who have fled the state?
I just want to be clear that Sullivan not Sullivan, Snyder v. United States was when Republicans made bribery legal. So Trump could be bribed openly and the rest of you could. So you guys all cheered Snyder v. United States. So no, it's not bribery. As long as you receive your bribe after, that's how fundraising works. You do something and you say, support me, and then you get the money. As we know, thanks to all your little sycophants, creepy conservatives on the Supreme Court, that's called a tip. But that's a nice try, Will Kane. You can't read. Your best friend is Pete Hegseth's liver. Like, please don't worry about legal. Don't worry about the law. Your brain does not work.
It opens up several opportunities. One, bribery in Texas is a felony. Felony is the type of offense that we can issue papers to have these Democrats brought back. Another thing, though, that the Democrats don't seem to know, and that is taking or receiving a payment like they have to escape or not take a vote subjects them to forfeiture of their seat.
I just want everyone to be clear. None of these people have taken a payment to leave the state. I looked it up, and I'm sorry, I'm sure someone in the chat knows more about this than me, but I believe people in the Texas state legislature, they're making about $7,000 a year. Like, we are talking about zero mother effing money. These people probably have 1 to 5 more jobs to support themselves. Like, and you are now implying that these people are taking bribes to leave the state. No, the F they're not. And again, refer to Snyder v. United States. This is your dream, Republicans, where as long as you get the money after the fact, it's a tip.
That's going to be one of the legal grounds you're going to see asserted here immediately to seek the vacation or elimination or abandonment of these House seats by the Democrats. So we will remove them from office and call for elections to replace them.
But what kind of timeline? You said immediately. My understanding is that is a legal process. It would have to be established by a judge. At least that's the opinion of the Attorney General, I believe, established in 2021. And that would require a judge to discern abandonment. So that seems like that could take some time.
So when I say immediately, I'm talking about when all the paperwork is going to be filed with the courts, which is going
is never. Shut up, Greg Abbott. You're a fucking weirdo. And this is Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who's possibly even worse than Greg Abbott. I just wanted to play this one clip from his interview.
Come back and do the right thing. Don't run and hide because you've lost touch with the voters. Their problem are not redistricting lines. Their problem, Sean, is they've lost the minds of their voters who are moving towards the Republican Party all over the country. We're a red state. We deserve more representation.
Yes, gerrymandering always happens when you have the majority, the hearts and minds of voters. That's when I always start voter suppression, and gerrymandering is when I know for a fact I have the hearts and minds of voters. That's when I start illegally gerrymandering the shit. 4 years into a census, I'm like, you know what? Even though we're supposed to wait 10 years before we gerrymander the shit out of Texas again, and even though 45% of Texas are Democrats, let's have 21% of the people we send to Congress being Democrats. Like, you have to be, these people are so dumb. Like, oh, this is so good. Okay, I knew. I was looking for this clip and I was like, I know I don't have the clip, but where is it? Okay. God, what is her name? I can't remember her name right now, but this is so amazing. So again, Brian Baez made this great video. God, I think the best thing about all these Texas Democrats fleeing is I've got to meet so many new powerful forces to be reckoned with I didn't previously know. Also, I think I need to go give my cat some food really quick because his paws are under the door and he's screaming. But this is Texas Democrat, one of the ones that fled, who's just like, Abbott, you don't know the law. I'm a lawyer. You're a piece of shit. This woman is the best.
Respectfully, he's making up some shit. Okay?
This is Texas State House Representative Jolanda Jones. That was a direct response to the Attorney General from Texas, who said Democrats in the Texas House who try and run away like cowards should be found, arrested, and brought back to the Capitol immediately. We should use every tool at our disposal to hunt down those who think they're above the law. She said, bitch, you're not doing shit.
I'm a lawyer. A part of my practice is criminal defense work. There is no felony in the Texas Penal Code for what he says. He's trying to get sound bites, and he has no legal mechanism. And if he did, subpoenas from Texas don't work in New York. So he gonna come get us how? Subpoenas in Texas don't work in Chicago. He's gonna come get us how? So let me be clear. He's putting up smoke and mirrors.
Pull back for a second. Trump is pressuring Governor Greg Abbott from Texas to redraw their political maps. This is what the map looked like before. All these red areas are Republican and these southern areas are blue Democrat. This is the new map that they drew and that they came up with, eliminating a lot of the blue areas in the southern part of Texas and eliminating 5 Democratic seats. This is the way that they're telling us out loud that they want to make sure that Republicans stay in the majority for decades to come. Texas House Republicans then voted to advance the new redrawn congressional map, which is discriminatory and unfair. But the Texas House Democrats decided to say, fuck this shit, broke quorum by leaving the state. I know a lot of people are like, what the fuck is quorum? So let me break it down. A quorum is the minimum number of members an assembly must be present at any time of its meetings to be able to make proceedings of that meeting valid. Essentially, without the Democrats actually physically in Texas, the Republicans cannot call this new congressional map for a vote. Instead, those Texas Democrats are using their time traveling the country. First, they met up with Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom already said that if Texas blinks, Gavin Newsom is going to redistrict all 52 congressional districts in California, eliminating all Republican seats. Those same Texas Democrats also went out to Illinois, and they came to New York because all 3 of those states are the biggest Democratic states, number 1, and number 2, they all have Democratic trifectas, which mean their governor, their state house, and their state senate are all Democrats. They can pass legislation, redraw their maps, and eliminate every single Republican seat.
Respectfully, he's making up some shit.
Just don't you love this woman? We all need to look more into Jolanda Jones. If you have a few extra dollars to support a local candidate, like, I mean, just giving me life.
I'm a lawyer. A part of my practice is criminal defense work. There is no felony in the Texas Penal Code for what he says. He's trying to get sound bites, and he has no legal mechanism. And if he did, subpoenas from Texas don't work in New York. So he gonna come get us how? Subpoenas in Texas don't work in Chicago. He's gonna come get us how? So let me be clear. He's putting up smoke and mirrors.
Pull back for a second. Trump is pressuring
I know, and it's like, someone said, is Jolanda Joanna's I know Joanna is, I mean, possibly fiercer. But it's like, I also just want to say, and I'm just like, slightly black. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like 30-something% black. Like, my dad is black. But, like, my point is like, we really, what we need to all endeavor to do is just take that, what that black woman magic and like, we cannot wait for the Jolanda Jones, the Joannas, the Jasmine Crockett's to save us, right? It's like, and I know we love to hear it and think about it and think like, God, okay, she can save us. And I'd use Letitia James, the black attorney general of New York, who is 3-0 against Trump. I mean, and Fani Willis, who's just coming for Trump, right? Like, all of these fearless warriors. And not all of them are always black women. A lot of them are just women, right? With nothing to lose. But like, what we need to do is say like, hey, I'm going to keep that same energy and I'm going to do exactly what they're doing. And I get it. It's cultural. Like, I think about this all the time. Like, why do people hate me so much? Like, I actually have this thing online I've been thinking about a lot in my spare time. Like, a lot of white women, and I'm not talking about MAGA women, I mean leftist women don't like me. Yeah, it's the aggression, right? It's the aggression, but they love white men who are aggressive, who never shut up. So I think it's cultural, right? Like, a lot of times it's like you run into people who are women who are aggressive, like, become that, right? You want to see change, will it to happen. Don't shut up. Challenge people. Make people feel uncomfortable. Everyone needs to get uncomfortable. Period. Right? Like, it's you. You might need to get uncomfortable. And I think that's what we all need to start seeing is like, I know how crazy I am. You guys have not even seen the half of it. Hopefully it never comes to it, but then you could realize really who you've been supporting this whole time. However crazy any man is, I promise you, they have no idea who I am. But I will win every single time. I already know. I will bet on myself every time because I know what I know what I've survived and what I'm capable of. But we all need to start thinking about that, right? Like, what are we capable of? What are we willing to do? And how far are you willing to go? Not even for us, right? Because I've noticed this. I think a lot of us don't value ourselves. Don't do it for yourself. Do it for the future. Do it for our children, our children's children, me as a teacher, thinking about all the kids I taught in second grade who I said like, oh, like, if you do the right things, like, here's what you have to look forward to. And all of that is turning out to be a lie, right? Like, that's what haunts me. And it's like, whatever your why is, whatever will, turn you into like activation mode, it is time to turn on and get angry. Exactly. Vote for your children, fight for not even for your children either. You don't have to be genetically related to kids to recognize like none of this are these kids' fault. Like, we're going to leave them here and just like, look at boomers. Yeah. You guys left us all here, took everything, ruined everything, and now you're all laughing at us while you leave us in this ruin. Like, just everyone needs to find their why or what they have to fight for and fight. Oh, this was a video I loved of Chris Murphy.
I want to talk to you for a second about what Texas is doing, trying to redraw congressional boundaries. Normally, states only redraw these boundaries every 10 years. Texas is doing it right now because they want to get an edge in the upcoming congressional elections. What we know about how to protect a democracy is that when the regime that's trying to convert a country to authoritarianism is operating outside of the box, is ignoring the norms, and the pro-democracy opposition is staying inside the box and observing all the norms, that's how democracy dies. And so if Texas is deciding to change their boundaries right now, well, then democratic states have to do the same thing. Of course, in a perfect world, we would all observe the rules and you would only reset the congressional maps every 10 years. But if Texas is going to play by their own rules, then we have to play by our own rules, because this democracy will disappear if Republicans rig the rules and Democrats stand on the sidelines. So we have limited opportunities to get this done, most notably in California. But this is a moment where we have to fight fire with fire, when we have to be strong and understand that if Republicans are operating in these exceptional ways, we could lose our democracy if we don't also operate in exceptional ways. I want to talk to you for a second about what Texas.
Time to get crazy. Like, no, truly. Like these, and this is also just it's a learning moment for MAGA. So just the way MAGA, you cheer on Trump when he breaks norms, when he breaks the law, in my opinion, when he does unconstitutional things. I just hope you keep that same energy when Democrats do it. Make sure you do. I mean, every time Trump lies, you cheer him on. Every time Trump breaks the law, you cheer him on. Every time Trump hurts kids, you cheer him on. Every time Trump hurts women, you cheer him on. So I just want to make sure that when we match energy, that you are cheering the Democratic Party on just as hard. Because that's logic. If you cheer Trump on, then you'll cheer us on too. But you guys couldn't follow a line of logic to save your lives. Again, before I play this clip, I am perpetually annoyed by Jake Tapper ever since that goddamn weird book tour where he tried to, like, I don't know what the fuck he was trying to do, but I will never forgive him. But this is a piece he did today where I was like, oh, are you trying to hope like some people start listening to you again? Jake Tapper used to be a person that knew the difference between right and wrong and could do math and, follow a line of logic. And here is a glimmer of the person I used to not hate.
And call it Trump math. President Trump has been creating his own equations when it comes to jobs numbers, poll numbers, citing fake numbers to justify actions, ignoring real ones that go against his narrative. So let's take 1 second to correct the record. The president fired Bureau of Labor Statistics Commissioner Erica McIntyre. He claimed without evidence that the jobs numbers were, quote, rigged in order to make the Republicans and me look bad, unquote. He claimed they were also rigged around the 2024 election, that Kamala Harris and President Biden made for them to look good right before the election.
Days before the election, they put out numbers. The country was on fire. It was doing so well. And then they did a revision about 2 weeks later, and the revision was down by almost 900,000 jobs. And I said, wow, supposing I would have lost, I would have blamed that.
This is a complete lie. Like, it's so fascinating. Like, MAGA, you are so dumb. I argued with you about this lie. He's saying this happened right before the election in November. I argued with you all about it on the internet in August when it really happened. And the opposite that he's now describing happened. Literally the fucking opposite happened, and not when every word of this is a lie. And all you would have to do is take out your supercomputer and Google to figure that out. But yet none of you can.
And people would have said I was a conspiracy theorist.
Wow, that sounds bad. Let's rewind the tape. Let's go back to November 1st, that jobs report released just 4 days before the presidential election, when, according to President Trump, the Bureau of Labor Statistics put out numbers suggesting that the country was doing amazingly. Huge job creation.
Jarring jobs report, 12,000 jobs added for the month of October, a fraction even of what we were expecting.
Oh. So actually, the Bureau of Labor Statistics put out a jobs report 4 days before the election that was bad for the Biden-Harris administration. That's the exact opposite of what President Trump said. Trump also said that after he was elected, the November 2024 jobs numbers were revised downward. Those numbers were actually revised upward. Everything the president said to justify her firing, to argue she was politically biased, was wrong. The pre-election jobs report was bad. The post-election revision went up. And he's relying on these lies to take serious actions, which also provides some insight for us as to how the president justifies continuing with policies such as tariffs, not popular with a broad swath of the American people. You can call it Trump math. President Trump has been...
This whole thing is a lie. That's easily Googleable. Even Grok says it's a lie, and yet we're still all here. I didn't know if I was going to make it to this video today, depending on my annoyance, but Robert Reich, went on this. I love how he just takes simple, dumb concepts or Trump's lies and then, hoo-hoo, thank you so much for the 10 giveaway subs. You are amazing. I appreciate you. I know I usually see you on YouTube. Thank you so much for the giveaway subs on TikTok. That means the world to me. You're amazing. Yeah, I mean, even Grok, what does that even mean? It means that Elon Musk's AI tool that has been known to be skewed to fascist rhetoric admits that Trump's lying. Grok is the AI tool on X that has been known. I mean, you can see it acts as a schmozy and still says that Trump's lying about job data. Thank you, Hoo. You're amazing. I appreciate you. And if anyone that Hoo in the chat, especially if you got a sub. But what I love about Robert Reich is he takes Trump's lies and then he uses them like I said, I used to be a teacher. Robert Reich is an amazing teacher. He takes complex economics concepts and then takes you on this journey that you're like, I didn't even know how much I had to learn about this. Ave, thank you for the $20 on Cash App. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for always being here. You don't know what it means to me. But this is one of the most fascinating pieces Robert Reich ever did. When I listened to it this morning, I was like, I hope we get to this today.
Donald Trump doesn't give a about you. If he did, he wouldn't be trying to undermine the federal agency that protects your health and safety on the job, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. Many have forgotten this, but during his first term, Trump defanged the agency. Under Trump's watch, the number of OSHA inspectors on the job hit a 45-year low. The number of workplace inspections overall dropped too, even as the need for more investigations into fatal or catastrophic safety incidents grew. This was happening as Trump gutted regulations that protected workers from exposure to dangerous chemicals on the job. But if you thought Trump's first term was bad for workplace safety, just wait until you hear where Trump's new choice to lead OSHA used to work. That's right, Amazon. The same corporation that had a warehouse injury rate at least 50% higher than its competitors. No wonder vending machines at Amazon distribution centers are reportedly filled with painkillers. One of Amazon's former top executives, whose tenure saw Amazon cited numerous times for OSHA violations, will be running the agency tasked with protecting workers' health and safety on the job. Jeff Bezos must be thrilled. After all, he said he'd support Trump's deregulatory agenda.
He seems to have a lot of energy around reducing regulation. If I can help him do that, I'm going to help him.
And Trump isn't stopping there.
To point out, thank you for the bubble gum. On another show, Robert Reich did a piece, and I kind of piggybacked off it, showed you guys, and talked about how one of MAGA's dumbest moments, or continued never-ending dumb moments, is cheering on deregulation. Deregulation is trickle-up economics. It means we don't have to get health insurance. We don't have to be protected in the workplace. We don't need bathroom breaks. We don't need any of the things that humans need to be treated humanely. That's what deregulation is. It's more trickle-up economics and more reducing us to a slave labor population. And you saw Jeff Bezos is like, oh, Trump wants to help me union bust and abuse my workers. I can get on board with that. This man used to be a progressive.
He's firing staff at the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, which conducts vital research to prevent work-related injury, illness, disability, and death. He's shutting down Department of Labor offices dedicated to workplace safety and is pushing federal agencies to stop enforcing other safety regulations. Given Trump's anti-worker history and his support from the richest men in the world, it's no surprise that Trump is willing to put workers in harm's way during a second term. But going after agencies like OSHA is especially dangerous because it's quite literally a matter of life and death. Let me give you a little history lesson. OSHA was established with the passage of the Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1970, signed by President Richard Nixon. Yes, Trump is somehow worse than Richard Tricky Dick Nixon on workers' rights. But the fight to protect workers' health and safety on the job stretches back more than a century. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, conditions for workers were deplorable. Workers, including children, toiled for 10 to 12 hours, 6 days a week, working with unregulated heavy machinery and dangerous chemicals for
all of these child labor laws that were developed as a result of Nixon being a shit bag to protect kids. Just know Trump and Republicans are rolling them back. Yeehaw! Thank you for the hats. But just know that's what's being rolled back. Or these labor laws. Thank you for that. I'm like, I could do, but this is get in those mines and those factories, kids. Those chemicals aren't that dangerous. You can do it.
poverty wages. Workers eventually began organizing for better pay, shorter work days and weeks, and safety precautions. But dangerous work conditions and deadly accidents, like the devastating Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire in 1911, were common. This fire was witnessed firsthand by FDR's eventual Secretary of Labor, Frances Perkins. The tragedy influenced her to establish the Bureau of Labor Standards in 1934 as the first federal agency dedicated to promoting the safety and health of the entire workforce. Despite this important step, however, workers' health and safety still largely remained in the hands of the states, and more alarmingly, employers. Over the next 40 years, working conditions improved as millions of workers unionized and fought for better safety on the job, but they were still routinely exposed to dangerous chemicals, injured by heavy machinery, and died, both on the job and long after, due to these workplace hazards. A shocking 1965 report finding that a dangerous chemical was introduced in the workplace every 20 minutes put workplace safety back at the top of the political agenda. Despite intense corporate resistance, a bill finally made it through Congress in 1970, and the Occupational Safety and Health Agency was born. Big corporations and their political puppets have continued their fight to undercut OSHA every step of the way in a quest for more profits. I dealt with it myself in 1995 as Secretary of the Department of Labor, which oversees OSHA. That year, a newly elected Republican majority in Congress set their sights on dismantling the agency, claiming that employers could be trusted to keep workers safe on their own, and that OSHA regulations were too burdensome.
These politicians, this new gang, they say that they care.
That's our little Robert 30 years ago. Or, wait, 50 years ago. How old is this guy? A long time. Wait, 70. Jesus.
About worker health and worker safety. But just last week, they announced their proposal in the House of Representatives to cut OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Administration, by 1/3, closing down half of the offices of OSHA around the country, closing down and cutting half of the inspectors around the country that make safe working places possible.
We fought that bill and won. Sadly, Republicans continued to target OSHA. But the numbers don't lie. Since 1971, OSHA has reduced workplace-related fatalities by almost 63%. It slashed the rate of serious workplace injuries and illnesses by 75%. That's millions of workers' lives saved. Millions of workers who are free from debilitating health conditions. Millions of families who are not missing a loved one. And more must be done, because too many workers are still injured on the job. If Trump actually cared about workers, he would not undermine the federal agency that keeps them safe. He wouldn't appoint an executive from a corporation that repeatedly violates worker health and safety to oversee worker health and safety. The only people who benefit from gutting OSHA are the billionaires who control our economy. No worker should have to pay the price for corporate greed with their limbs or their life.
That's exactly what Trump keeps saying. Did you guys see where Trump said yesterday that just certain brown workers are made to die and work in the fields and they're super good at it? And like, he asked someone like, oh, what happens if they break their back? And he's like, they just don't break their backs because then they will be poor and homeless. Here, let me find, oh wait, oops, what am I? Hold on, sorry. I think I just muted the wrong, I don't know what wait, something was just right here that's no longer, what did I just do? I know I did something bad and I don't know what it was. What was just right here? That is it. Whatever. I'll find it. I know. So I clicked on the wrong thing and I'm just not sure what it is. If only you guys had to live in TikTok studio with me, you would get it. But let me just show you what I'm talking about. Now that you heard that OSHA stuff and how we care about workers, Trump regularly now just shows himself to be a piece of shit, racist bigot. I mean, as he always has been, but I mean, I just think when he just is, this is an interview which I have more of this, and if depending on how long I'm live, I'll come back around and show you more of it. But I know none of us like to watch Trump. I just want you to hear. Just Robert Reich spent a long time describing workplace conditions and how conservative Republicans have done everything to take us back to the 1800s slave labor conditions where people were losing life and limb in fields and factories. And here's Trump yesterday talking about how he feels. And I just want you to know, this is a white supremacist. I mean, right of right of right of right. I don't even hear Nick Fuentes saying shit like this, saying that like certain people are built to be slaves and die in the fields, essentially. Like, this is literally the farthest of the far right rhetoric. It's scary to hear Trump echoing it.
Back to their country with a pass back in legally, and we're doing things that are very difficult to do and very complex, but it works really well. We're sending them back, and then they're schooling, they're learning, they're coming in legally. We have a lot of that going on, but we're taking care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody, these people, you can't replace them very easily. People that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work. And they've tried, we've tried, everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they get it to a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die. I said, that's interesting, isn't it? These are very, in many ways, they're very, very special people. Okay, go ahead.
No.
That's Trump talking about how he's going to have to let some undocumented immigrants pick the crops. Yeah, I promise you, my dad, who was a migrant worker, a traveling migrant worker, yeah, his back does hurt, just like lazy, white, middle-aged males' backs hurt. Same back, same skeletal structure. Like, he's trying to do a mustache, man. This is like started with Aristotle. I don't want to get too philosophical, but the great chain of being, where Aristotle started implying that some people, their lot in life was to be slaves. And Schittler started implying like, oh, well, black and brown people, they were built for this. They have like an extra bone in their foot or whatever it was. None of that is correct. Trump saying some people are just built to be slaves in fields. This is the president of the United States. But mainly, I'm looking at you, dumbass Cubans, Venezuelans, and all the Hispanics that voted for Trump. He's saying you are built to be slaves in fields. And specifically to my relatives who voted to lose their birthright citizenship, I am talking to all of you. What the are you thinking? Do you understand? Like, I'm not going to get into it because that's a conversation. Like, the Hispanic world should have probably not on this live. Wait, hold on. Sorry. I'm looking. I need to find sorry. I don't want to get too much. God, this whole interview is gross, but I want to show another. I want to stay on this line of logic. Robert Reich was talking about Trump cooking the books, which if you're looking for different reputable news sources, I always talk about ProPublica is my favorite. If you're looking for like clips and things you can watch, follow Democracy Now! If you don't follow Democracy Now!, most amazing like visual news source. I love Democracy Now! Robert Reich was on Democracy Now! This morning explaining why Trump's a corrupt liar, and I loved every second.
Like so much that has happened under Donald Trump, even in the first 6 months of his second administration, he's doing things that nobody had ever believed or thought possible. And he's also revealing the most important aspects of government in doing so. I mean, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, for example, nobody really knows about or most people don't think about, but it is the heart. It is the crown jewel of the government's efforts to explain what's happened to the United States economy. Every month, it does surveys about jobs and wages and other very, very important economic issues. And it's not only the government that depends on the Bureau of Labor Statistics, it's also the entire economy. Every business person, every small business person, every investor, everybody in the economy watches that report for signals as to the direction the economy is going in, including, not incidentally, the Federal Reserve Board. So you have Donald Trump saying he doesn't like the numbers that just came up. And so he shoots the messenger, says, I don't trust that person. Well, what's going to happen now? He puts a new person in there. Does that new person have the trust and confidence of everyone in the economy? It's not just the United States economy. Let's face it, it's also the global economy. Is that new person going to have the trust and confidence we need in that bureau to actually undertake all the economic decisions that have to be done based upon the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the data? I mean, you can't possibly. This is another example of Trump basically riding roughshod over our democratic institutions and truth. Amy, this is also about truth. He doesn't like truth. He doesn't like facts. He doesn't like science. He doesn't like broadcasters that broadcast the truth. He cracks down on CBS and NBC and public broadcasting, and wherever there is anything that he doesn't like, he slams it and tries to end it.
Robert Reich, however, I have questions about not so much the projection for the past month, but this enormous reduction of the estimates in the previous month. So in May, I think it went from 144,000. It was revised downward to 19,000, and in June from 147,000 to 14,000. This is a 10 by a magnitude of 10. The Bureau was off in the previous months. So if it's a gold standard of data on labor, why without any explanation of how there was such enormous errors in the past month? Well, is this more political, or is it just a question of they don't have enough staff to actually do the job they're supposed to do?
Well, one, it's not political. Again, when I was labor secretary, the Bureau of Labor Statistics did revise downward and occasionally revised upward its monthly decisions about how many jobs. And those revisions are based upon additional information coming into the Bureau. Now, the Bureau's initial estimates on how many jobs are created in a given month is always a compromise. That is, the Bureau is always trying to get information out as fast as possible. But like any statistical agency, like any competent government agency, like anybody who is gathering data, if you get late data that contradicts or changes your initial estimate, you've got to get that late data out. This is nothing new. The Bureau of Labor Statistics has been revising former months for years and years and years. These particular estimates that were revised downward are large, to be sure, but the size of them doesn't make them less credible. And that's very, very important because we'll probably see next month, I don't know, but my expectation would be that job growth is slowing quite dramatically. Donald Trump doesn't want that to be known. He doesn't. He wants people to think that his tariffs and his economic policies are creating a lot of jobs. Well, the fact is, they don't seem to be. He doesn't.
That's what people need to understand and to be able to talk to their dumbass MAGA family members about is jobs are not coming back to America. As a matter of fact, forget about manufacturing. Tariffs are ruining everything, right? Like people corporations in America cannot afford to hire people. What these job surveys that the Bureau of Labor and Statistics are about is people are like putting out feelers and saying like, okay, these are surveys. Like how many people are you going to hire in June 2025? And people are saying like, hey, I think it's going to be 25. And when you're like, how the F are these corrections happening? What is happening is people are saying, hey, I'm going to try to hire 25 people in June 2025, but I didn't expect a crazy man wearing terrible orange makeup to change the tariff policy 7 times within a month. So like I thought I have to pay for my inventory. I can't hire new people. So the corrections are people saying, hey, like, in this survey I said I projected, or the corporation as a hiring manager, I was supposed to hire 25. Well, we actually fired 5. Because we can't afford to take on new people. That's what these corrections are. It's people saying like, hey, if anyone understands, which MAGA doesn't, but how business works is you're projecting based on trade policy, based on things that are supposed to remain constant. Here's how I'm projecting I'll be able to hire throughout the year. And then when Trump does these insane things, and is manipulating the markets and they're violently moving up and down, people are like, yeah, like I thought I could hire people, but I can't. That is what you are witnessing. I want to show you guys one other thing, which this guy left the Washington Post because he was my favorite Washington Post writer. Or wait, he might still just work in opinions, but he used to actually be a reporter. And Trump hated him enough. I think Jeff Bezos fired him. But this is from the incident where Trump lied and said what Trump said happened. in November or late October actually happened in August. This is from the day it happened. Philip Bump is my favorite writer, my favorite journalist. And today, Trump and his allies are being dishonest about jobs data. August 24th, August 21, 2024. In a massive scandal, the Trump administration was caught fraudulently manipulating jobs statistics in August 2019. I love how he writes. To hide the true extent of economic ruin it had inflicted upon America. Data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which there's hyperlinks to all of this, released at that point showed that the administration padded the numbers with an extra 501,000 jobs that do not exist and never did. So that at least is how Donald Trump would describe the scheduled revision of employment numbers released during his presidency, were he being consistent with how he characterized a similar revision published on Wednesday. This all happened indisputably in August, on August 20th, 2024, and August 2021, when it was reported. We all lived through it. I reported on it. You can go back and watch my lives during that time where I corrected all the middle-aged, insecure, white male MAGA idiots that couldn't figure out what was going on. And what Philip Bump is doing in that first paragraph is being ironic and saying, hey, Trump is saying that Biden had lied about jobs and this is a revision, is a sign of that. And he's saying, then if that happened, then Trump lied about jobs in August 2019. And this is the second largest revision. All you have to do, MAGA, is be able to read to find out that nothing Trump says is factually true. It's super easy. I mean, for those of us who can read and do math, you guys are probably you probably should give up. I don't see a lot of hope for you guys, but for the rest of us whose brains are working, we'll be just fine. I don't know. I honestly do not know what will happen to you all. It's probably just give up at this point. And truly, I don't know the answer for you all. Ew. Sorry. I'm trying to open my presentation back up and I have so many good things. Okay. I'm going to show, I think this is where I want to go next. Ew. Oh, sorry. It's muted.
Partisan redistricting committees. Democrats had their way, we would have federal nonpartisan redistricting committees where you do that across the board. The Republicans would never let us do it. So Democrats started doing that in their own states. Was just a terrible decision because it has put Democrats at this disadvantage. If Democrats had not been doing nonpartisan redistricting committees, we would be in control of Congress right now.
Is that true? What would the numbers be?
I think that the Democrats would probably be able to net about 11 to 15 seats if we didn't have nonpartisan redistricting committees. We're about to, I hope, start a redistricting war. If the Republicans have already taken the first shot across the bow, blue states need to start responding in kind. It is the only way you will get national nonpartisan redistricting committees, is to get Republicans to come to Congress crying about how Democrats have been drawing up blue districts. You got to take a step backwards to take a big leap forwards, and that's what I think this is going to have to be in the nonpartisan redistricting committee front.
I've never met a Democrat who wouldn't support national fair redistricting, and I've never met a Republican who would support it. I mean, the bottom line is voters should choose their reps. Reps shouldn't choose their voters. That created an unresponsive government that no longer reflects the will of the people, and that is a problem.
Democrats hadn't been so busy taking the high road, we would never have been in this situation. That's why I'm saying disabuse yourself of the notion that you are on the high road. Whilst we sit here on the high road, we've got a bunch of robbers, thieves, grifters, and the majority of you are general and insecure idiots just grifting, stealing, thieving their way to the top. Like, we are no longer on the high road. Everyone needs to move past that. We are going to do whatever it takes to defeat a bunch of idiots. I always talk about how I like, oh, that's rich. Like, I think everyone he's a creator on TikTok. It's like, oh, HH, that's rich. I want to play this clip I found that he made. Oh, sorry, I didn't see these. Terry, thank you for the $1 in Cash App, for being so detailed in your knowledge. Thank you. That's very kind. And for the second $1 in Cash App, you're exquisite looking and extremely intelligent. Oh my God. Don't say it if you don't mean it. Okay, so this again is, oh, that's rich. And I saw this and I was like, we need to keep this energy about everything.
You're seeing right now are signs that this shit is about to blow wide open. The Trump agenda has been running on fumes ever since its crash out with Elon Musk, but now we have the four horsemen of the MAGA apocalypse. First, Trump fires the commissioner of the BLS because he finds out his economy sucks, just like it did when he lost 3 million jobs in his first term, which is kind of hilarious because he just added one more unemployed person to the millions of Americans already suffering. I guess it's not that funny. Second horseman, Trump orders Greg Abbott of Texas to re-gerrymander their state because he thinks 5 seats in Texas is going to make a difference when the House swings 40 seats to the left. Unfortunately for Trump, all those Democrats left Texas, so they can't force a vote. But even if they do, California, New York, and Illinois can swamp those 5 seats with their own maps that could swing 20 seats back to the left. Because that's the thing, MAGA. You guys have already gerrymandered every red state into oblivion. There's no juice left to squeeze. Meanwhile, Democratic governors have been trying to do it the right way, trying to lead by example. But if you guys want to get down and play in the mud, I guarantee Gavin Newsom can find a way to make Bay Area voters live in every district in the state, which on its own would swing 9 votes back to the Democrats. The third horseman, Trump, has completely lost independent voters. Just look at this poll from Reuters. First, this poll has Trump at a 40% approval rating, which is the lowest of his second term. But more specifically, look at independent voters. 61 to 29 against him on the economy, 55 to 36 against him on immigration. Needless to say, you can't win shit if you're losing 2/3 of independent voters. And the fourth horseman is right here, because the federal appeals court just heard arguments over whether Trump even has the legal right to impose tariffs. And their questioning was rightfully scathing, because of course he's trying to impose tariffs under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, but that act doesn't even contain the word tariffs. And until Trump, no president had even considered using it to try to impose tariffs, because no one else was that stupid. Now this one is the mother lode, because if you want to see what happens when Trump loses the ability to control tariffs, go take a carcass from a badger. It's not pretty, and I would not want to be in the room when it happens, but I would love to watch the video later. If, and I think more specifically when, the power to impose tariffs is taken away from Trump, the MAGA apocalypse will officially be over. Because without Congress, without the economy, without independent voters, and without tariffs, that sad, decrepit failure will have nothing left, and no one left to dance with in his new golden ballroom. Sad. What you're seeing right now are signs that this shit is...
Preach, could not agree more. And I want to show you guys before, oh God, sorry, it's 3 hours in. I promise not to let my ADHD fail us, but I have so many, I need to, hold on, oh, I was not even that far off from this. Okay. I want to make sure, sorry, I have these clips of, well, damn it, now I'm seeing more. No, we got to get to the Jasmine Crockett clips, but I want to show Trump lying, because I have these clips and I'm like, I will not forget. I know I have them in my written. Sorry, let me just consult my actual outline and make sure, because I promise I will not leave this line until I show you these. Okay. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay. Sorry, I just have to identify where they are. You try to find all this shit in the middle. It's hard. Okay, here, we're almost there. Oh yes, okay. Sorry, it's coming back to me. Okay, sorry. It's hard to find these clips. Found it. Okay. It's going to see a little bit long. It's going to seem long, but I promise this is worth it, because it's just Trump telling a shitload of lies on CNBC yesterday. And particularly, you know how they always play Harry Enton's statistical analyses, because I enjoyed them. He's in charge of statistical analysis and polling on CNN. He's an economist, whatever. And I love his numbers. Even when I don't agree, I play them. And the one time Harry Enton said something favorable to Trump was, he said specifically just Republicans, right? Like have a 90%, I think it was 91 or 90% approval rating. Republicans only, right? In every other metric, Trump is underwater. Trump is in a worse position than he was in his first term. Like the only president hated more is Trump in his first term. And Trump continued to try to lie on a CNBC interview, didn't even know Harry Enton's name. It was like, look up Harry Emden. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. But I just want you to hear this and then see Trump be fact-checked. This man is a pathological liar. And also probably senile and needs to be in an old folks home.
I got the highest vote in the history of Texas, a record that they say won't be beaten unless I run again.
Are you going to run again? The
No,
Constitution
probably not.
Okay.
Probably not.
And you're not going to fire Jay Powell. We'll go all talk about all the stuff that.
Hey, Becky, I'd like to run. I have the best poll numbers I've ever had. You know why? Because people love the tariffs, and they love the trade deal, and they love that foreign countries aren't ripping us off anymore. For years, they ripped us off, friend and foe. And the friend was worse.
Overall poll numbers, you don't have the best you ever had in overall poll numbers. You do.
I want you to know, Joe Kernan, the only reason this interview is happening on CNBC, this is a Trump sycophant. Like, this man argues points that make no sense for Trump. So just understand, the person who's pushing back is a Trump sycophant. Who the only reason Trump's doing this interview is because this guy defends him 24 hours a day and is just trying to be like, that's not true.
I cited one of those.
I have the best poll numbers I've ever had.
Among Republicans.
I have poll numbers where I'm 71%. I have the best poll numbers. Look,
those are among Republicans.
No. Among Republicans, I'm at 94 and 95%. No, I'm talking about generally. I have the. Let me put it this way: there was a gentleman on Harry Emden yesterday on CNN, and he went crazy over how well Trump was doing. Now,
the day Trump is talking about is over a week and a half ago. I just want you to understand how deluded this man is. I watch Harry Enton every single day. I follow him. He spends 6 minutes a day live on CNN, and I watch it every single day. It's reposted. So Trump is mistaking yesterday for over a week and a half ago.
You know, you don't put that on because I think CBS is a shade. Actually, CNN's a shade better than NBC. I think NBC is probably the worst of them all. But if you check CNN tomorrow, watch Harry Emden, and you'll see about the numbers. But that's okay. We have to defend ourselves, Joe.
I know, but there are other. They can cite. Your haters cite polls that have you down in the 30s, Mr. President. And,
yeah, but they're fake polls, Joe. I had a lot of fake polls. You also have me in the 70s. I have fake polls. Fox gives me terrible polls all the time. You know, they do nothing but I've never had a good poll with Fox. And then I win an election and I go through the roof. Because, look, I won every swing state. Did I not? I won every swing state. Andrew, I won the popular vote by millions of votes. Even though they tried like hell to cheat, I won by millions of votes. I won the
Did not.
counties. And all of the counties, I won 2,750 to 502. And I won the election in a landslide. And obviously that's only, we're only 6 months in. But my poll numbers are better now, much better than during the election. And now part of that is because the Democrat Party is.
I just want to be clear, and he can't say Harry Enton, E-N-T-E-N, if anyone wants to look up the guy. He's saying Emden. I don't know what he's saying. Anyways, the only person that has had worse approval ratings or only president than Trump at this time is Trump in his first term. Truly. Like, it's crazy. And anyways, so someone put together this cut of it.
I have the best poll numbers I've ever had.
among
I have
Republicans.
poll numbers where I'm 71%. I have the best poll numbers. Look,
those are among Republicans.
No. Among Republicans, I'm at 94 and 95%. No, I'm talking about generally. I have the. Let me put it this way: there was a gentleman on Harry Emden yesterday on CNN, and he went crazy over how well Trump was doing. Now, you don't put that on because I think CBS is a shade. Actually, CNN's a shade better than NBC. I think NBC is probably the worst of them all. But if you check CNN tomorrow, watch Harry Emden, and you'll see about the numbers. But that's okay. We have to defend ourselves.
Was the president correct about the polling, though?
This is a clip. This is Harry Enton, not Emden, on the right, who's now heard this clip. It was played for him on CNN, and he's being asked, like, hey, is what Trump said correct? That's what you're now witnessing, is the real Harry Enton correcting pathological lies.
Ourselves.
Was the president correct about the polling, though?
No, I don't think the president was correct. I give him a fair shake. I don't give him a positive spin. Look, he is not at the highest point he's ever been. Take a look at his net approval rating, where it is right now. It's negative. He's underwater, right? You compare that to where he was at the beginning of this term. He was 6 points above water. Now he's 9 points below water. If we are comparing him to other presidents at this point in their presidencies, he is the second lowest on record compared only to himself, who does worse. If we're comparing him to other second terms, he's certainly in the bottom of the list, not nearly all the way at the bottom. Richard Nixon was at a worse position at this point. But when you're comparing yourself to Richard Nixon and you're saying that you're doing better than Richard Nixon in your second term, that's not exactly a good position to be in.
I have the best.
Just to be old orange, old, no men should wear makeup, but I can't stop plastering makeup on myself. And MAGA, I just want you to know, if whatever you think you're doing, because you're in some bubble on the right, we're all like, yeah, we're men and we're smart. You can't do math. You can't read. Your brains do not work. And everyone is laughing at you. Like following old grandpa down into the grave. It's not the greatest look I've ever seen. Like, I do find it fascinating, though, to watch all of you be like, yeah, grandpa's old makeup wearing grandpa's right. None of us know what you're doing or why. It's just getting weirder and weirder and more uncomfortable and more uncomfortable. And we're all just sitting here like, God, are they going to stop? And I think the answer to that is no. You guys are not going to stop. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just super strange. I feel like we're in the Twilight Zone. I feel like I need to find, what was it that I need to play? Oh, yes. Sorry, I have so many clips, so. No. I won't get into, I'm not going to go off subject. There's so many things I want to like hammer and get angry about, but I want to focus. Oh, yes. Okay. I'm trying. It's like I have a list of things I promise myself I will not leave before I show you. What is this amazing clip about Ghislaine Maxwell basically being pardoned or moved to a minimum security prison?
Release the Epstein files, which somehow for Donald Trump became, okay, you want me to release Ghislaine Maxwell from prison? No, release the Epstein files. Okay, I'll release Epstein's co-conspirator, sex trafficker, one of my best friends from the late 80s through the 2000s, pretty much. I'll release her. No. We don't want you to release the sex trafficker, okay? The convicted felon. Okay, well, here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to move her from Tallahassee into Camp Bryant. I'm going to waive the requirement that you can't be a sex offender if you want to be in the minimum security facility. So now we'll allow a sex trafficker there. Oh, and by the way, I can pardon her. And now all of Ghislaine's like influencers who are also MAGA people, they're all like, we think Ghislaine's going to go. This is a great day for Ghislaine. And it's
You guys understand that the same way, remember that woman who broke into the Capitol on January 6th? It was like trying to unalive Congress people and then she was pew-pewed. So the same way those people delusionally defended someone who was given 18,000 warnings and tried to unalive people on Capitol Hill to stand down and stop before they shot her. Well, like, there's the same group of people for Ghislaine Maxwell. I mean, and I say that I'm meaning, like, the same dumbass logic. If you're a white woman, I guess you can't be a disgusting predator who has done something horribly wrong. If you're not aware of this, there's a huge movement within MAGA to free Ghislaine Maxwell. Not suggesting you join X to find this out, but that's what he's talking about. Like, there are people, I think, in MAGA, or I thought, that understood that Epstein and Ghislaine were horrible. And then there are this other offshoot of, like, you know, all of this is different parts of QAnon who are like, Ghislaine Maxwell's innocent, even though all of her victims say that the essaying, she also assaulted these children. She taught and groomed them and assaulted them into helping whatever. I can't even talk about it. But anyways, that's what he's talking about. And now we have to be gaslit again. Matt is now like, oh, it's fine. Everything's fine. I like this clip by Jasmine Crockett too. Hold on. Oh, wait. What am I doing? Sorry, I'm just on. There we go.
Want that to become public? The transcript?
I think that Congress needs all the files, period, and then we can go from there. Do I trust Todd Blanche? Definitely doesn't trust him on the way that the president trusts him. In fact, he talked about how great he was, but the last time that I checked, he actually lost that case for the president in New York. So there were definitely a group of jurors that did not believe that he was this great, incredible attorney that was to be trusted.
Speaking of attorneys,
Blanche is a mother effing creep. Thank you so much for the gifts. I appreciate it. Todd Blanche is a literal creep. And, I knew I was going somewhere and we would get there. So I want to show you. Thank you for the gift. This was released last night. Listen to this, and then I'll show you what's happening today.
We have some breaking news this hour as sources are telling CNN that top Trump administration officials are going to meet tomorrow night at the vice president's residence, where we are told that the main focus is going to be the administration's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case, as well as the need to present a unified front. That meeting is going to include White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, the Vice President, of course, J.D. Vance, Attorney General Pam Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel, and the Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who recently sat down with Ghislaine Maxwell. CNN reported earlier that the administration is weighing whether or not to release an audio recording or a transcript of that interview that he did with Maxwell last month. And tonight, sources say that there have also been internal discussions about what exactly Blanche's next step could be, including holding a press conference or doing a high-profile interview, possibly with someone like Joe Rogan. Though I should note those conversations are still preliminary based on our understanding.
Again, a whistleblower that works for J.D. Vance or someone is like, hey, they're planning a meeting today, which would be today, to discuss a quote-unquote unified front, meaning lockstep cover-up of a child trafficking scandal that Donald Trump ran on and promised to expose. We have the only child trafficker that was ever held accountable by, thanks Joe Biden, thanks Biden administration. Now, the only thing Trump has done, MAGA, let's just get it on the record, is move the child trafficker to a minimum security prison with no fences where she can play tennis and pickleball with Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And I mean that literally, not figuratively. You guys have done nothing except for make life easier for people that hurt children. That is your legacy. And someone inside the Trump administration is like, they're going to meet tomorrow and they're going to like make a plan of how to cover all this up together. So I just want to show you right before I started the live something I took a screenshot of because I found it absolutely fascinating. So that was reported last night on CNN that a whistleblower had said, and I want to remind you, I have said this over and over. No, I see the world in patterns, probably high functioning autistic, and that's why, like, I'm not good at normal, regular life things, but I'm good at seeing patterns. And this is what Trump does. He floats an idea like, oh, I've never thought about it. I could pardon Ghislaine Maxwell. I've never thought about it, but I could. He floats an idea out, and then when there's pushback and backlash, he's like, "Oh, that's a lie made up by the media. I never said that. I don't know where it came from." Just notice this is the 850th time this has happened. This is from JD Vance's office today. JD Vance's office denies a CNN report that he was convening, because it was one of his people that was saying it was happening, convening a meeting tonight with top administration officials to discuss strategy related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. Quote, "The CNN story is pure fiction." Really? Even though it was brought by a whistleblower that works for you? "There was never a supposed meeting scheduled at the vice president's residence to discuss Epstein strategy." William Martin, communications director to the vice president. And I think this is so apropos. Ron Filipkowski posted this in response. Daily Trump admin pattern. Come up with something batshit crazy, or plan something that makes you look bad if it was known. 2, someone on the inside leaks it to the press. 3, story published, public backlash ensues. 4, change plan/policy. 5, claim it was all fake news. Start recognizing patterns. Like, this is happening 5 times a week minimum, 15 times a week on average, period. This is no longer, I mean, I always say this, it's not a left-right issue. It is a dumb, not dumb issue at this point. Like, if you are dumb enough to believe this is like, I'm a racist and Trump's a racist and we're all on the same team while you're being robbed, I can't help you. And it's not a left-right issue. It's a stupid, not stupid issue. That's where we're at. Like, who is stupid and who is not stupid? It's time to really use that brain and start thinking about where your money's going. It is a stupid, not stupid issue at this point. If you are defending the people that are robbing you, you are stupid. There's no other way to say it at this point. You are stupid and your brain does not work. Period. Sorry, I just get a little upset at times when I have to go through this. Okay, I have to go because, like I said, my sister's going to be here in 2 days. My anti-vaxxing, Jesus-loving sister will be here in 2 days. And I have to get ready for that amazing meeting. So I'm going to go now and do some things to prepare for that. But I will see you guys tomorrow. As planned, hopefully as close to 11:30 Pacific, 2:30 Eastern as possible. I love you all so much. Stay sane. Stay sane out there, people. Keep on keeping on.